Chapter 1838, SSS Level Mission, Blasting Fist Upgrade. Chapter 1838, SSS Level Mission. Blasting Fist Upgrade. In a certain year, 1,000 years ago, Mu Warner killed a Hell Reaper and also came to this lost world. Similarly, she met the giant. There were quite a few scars on the head of the giant, which was left behind by her. The reason why she wore a helmet was to hide those scars. Long Fei looked at the giant in front of him and thought of his own mother. His brain didn't work enough once again, controlling the laws of time, killing 13 Hell Reaper-S and killing one of them. Now, you have struck another giant out of the shadow of his heart. Oh my God, how fierce are you? Long Fei could not imagine. The giant looked at Long Fei and said, "Did you come here to find a way to leave the Devil Island?" The giant asked very simply, 1,000 years. This should be the second time he met a human since he was born. He did not know the evilness of humans and maintained his primal purity. However, if he went out, no one would dare to do anything to them. If he got angry, the consequences would be unimaginable. Long Fei asked, "Did the last person come to find a way to leave the Devil Island?" Giant said, "That's what she said, but in the end, she could not find it. In the end, she left. She promised to take me to see the outside world, but she secretly left. She told me to wait for the next person. She said she would take me away as soon as I got there. You are the second person I have been waiting for. Since you have already appeared, would she appear?" The giant stared at the sky. He deeply desired the outside world. After living here for 1,000 years, he began to yearn for this world that was beyond the sky. The giant spoke slowly, but Long Fei's heart trembled again. And again, "The second person is me. Mother, do you want me to bring him away from here?" "That's not right. You've already arranged all of this. You've long known about it. Do you also know the great prophecy?" Long Fei was once again shocked in his heart. As long as his mother went there, if Long Fei went there, he would discover many things that his mother had left him. Hell Reaper might be the same. And then there was the giant in front of him. Long Fei looked at the desire in the eyes of the giant, looked at his grumbling eyes, and said, "I can bring you away," was probably the only person in the world who could bring giant away. This was because he had the Sumi rings. If he could contain a land and a mountain peak of several tens of thousands of meters, then naturally it would not be difficult for a giant to do so. When the giant heard it, he immediately laughed excitedly. Squatting down and looking at Long Fei, he asked, "Are you for real?" Long Fei nodded and said, "I'm serious." Giant said apologetically, "I was wrong just now. She promised to take me away, but she promised to bring my entire clan out." Attack range increased by 1-fold, speed increased by 1-fold. "Awesome, my brother." Wasting time, Long Fei laughed out loud. The blasting fist had been interrupted once by the Hell Reaper, and this made Long Fei feel the danger of the blasting fist. If this fist technique was seen through by others, then his in-skill would be useless. It's upgraded now. If it was the Hell Reaper, he definitely wouldn't have interrupted them. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The powerful light flew from the sky and bombarded the mountain. In the distance, a huge figure descended like a god, imprinting itself in the sky. With a cold smile on his face, he said, "As long as your giant clan can submit to me, I will spare your lives. Otherwise," not waiting for him to finish, a huge rock was suddenly flung out. The huge rock turned into a streak of fiery light, flashing out like a comet. This power, he was simply too strong. Giant clan will never surrender. He heavily smashed into the sky, but when he was still 100 meters away from his target, he was directly smashed into smithereens by a surge of energy. stronger. Separation of evil spirits. Chapter 1839. Giants Never Surrender. Chapter 1839. Giants never surrender. He had easily crushed the giant's boulders into powder without harming him in the slightest. The separation of evil spirits laughed coldly. If it weren't for the fact that you two were of some use in Giant Clan, you would have disappeared from this world a long time ago. Who do you think will remember you, hiding in a dark corner? Are those fellows from Main Temple? I was the one who gave you a chance, yet you wasted it like this. Very well, then I'll make you regret forever, and disappear from this world forever. The only descendant of the Giant Clan from the 100,000 Plains. Attack! The separation of evil spirits was furious. He had already lost patience with the Giant Clan, although he admitted that the Giant Clan was an extremely strong battle force. Those who could not be used by him would still be his enemies. If he was an enemy, then he had to die. With that, the evil god Legion rushed out at an incredible speed. Giant tribe. There were no fortifications, only some simple stones that would collapse at a single charge. However, compared to them, their best defense was their bodies. Looking at the evil god army that blotted out the sky and covered the earth, the Giant Clan leader's huge stone axe trembled. He shouted loudly, "Giant Clan, charge for me!" Roar! Roaring furiously, he used his legs to meet the attack head-on. Giant Clan behind him also followed suit and rushed forward. The battle was about to start. The scene was grand and indescribable. Long Fei quickly sprinted forward, his gaze fixated on the separation of evil spirits the entire time. The distance is too far. The distance is too far. Blasting Fist leveled up, but his attack range could not reach as far as 100 kilometers. If he wanted to instantly kill the separation of evil spirits, he had to enter his attack range. However, to get close to the separation of evil spirits, he had to break through the evil god army. Otherwise, it was impossible. Rumble! 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 Bang, 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 bang. Giant Clan was quickly entangled like ants trying to bite an elephant, and his body was crawling with evil god soldiers. Boom, boom. Me, here I come. With the harpoon in hand, he supported himself on the ground and bent his body, then suddenly shot out a few thousand meters away to help one of the fallen Giant Clan up. The harpoon in his hands swept away a large group of evil god soldiers. Along, why have you only just arrived? Along, I've already killed 100. Along, where did you run off to? The giant who was talking to Long Fei with a harpoon was called Along, the fiercest person among the young generation of the Giant Clan. Along said naively, "I've seen humans." And then Along looked at the evil god in the distance and said, 1,000 years ago, someone agreed to bring us out. Now, that person has arrived, but if I don't put you down today, I definitely won't leave. Kill. When the Giant Clan heard Along's words, he trembled and revealed an excited expression. Along, is that Lord here? Is it that Lord? Is she here? Has she come to keep her promise? If she came, then these evil god army scum would instantly be defeated. Along said, "It's not her, but someone else. He promised to bring us away." Huh. Not her. Another human? Everyone was disappointed. They only recognized Muwaner because they knew how strong Muwaner was. As for the others, they did not believe them. Along said heavily, "I believe him. Let's defeat the evil god army together, and we will leave here together with him. And I feel that his eyes are very similar to that Lord's eyes. Kill." Along let out a loud roar. They directly charged into the most concentrated place in evil god army and started a slaughter. It was like killing the sky and the earth. Long Fei did not expose himself. He continued to advance amidst the crowd, but there were too many evil god armies, too many of them. They couldn't be killed at all. If this goes on, Giant Clan will die of exhaustion. No way. This is my 108 generals. I can't let them die just like this. Then, Long Fei quickly jumped out from the darkness and shouted, "Along! Bring me there!" The voice reached Along's mind. Along trembled, turned around, and looked at the little guy who looked like Long Fei, and asked, "Why are you here?" Long Fei said, "I will save you." Ha! Ha! Ha ha ha! Several Giant Clan noticed Long Fei and couldn't help but laugh when they heard his words. "What can a little person like you do? Save us." Ha ha ha! "Little guy, you are too boastful. You are the most boastful person I've ever met. Of course, you are also the second human I've ever seen." They did not believe in Long Fei. Long Fei did not explain anything. This world focused on power. Power could crush anything. Long Fei shouted loudly, "Xiao Yan, here." Long Fei said, "Use your heavenly flame to open up a path for me." Xiao Yan immediately replied, "I understand." The dou qi on Xiao Yan's body was revolving as the heavenly flame exploded outwards. The flames were instantly extinguished, and Long Fei crazily ran forward. He did not pay attention to the path ahead of him. Xiao Yan crazily opened a path. Long Fei crazily ran to the very front, which was also the place where the evil god army was the most concentrated. What is he doing? Is he crazy? Along, he's the human that you said can take us away? I think he's crazy. I think so too. He's just going to throw his life away. Even giants wouldn't dare to rush in like this. They weren't charging out like warriors, but a magic shield appeared on Long Fei's body. Deaths. And at this moment, also the surrounding evil god army surrounded Long Fei so tightly suddenly stopped that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Buzz. Long Fei endured it. Suddenly, the separation of evil spirits' gaze tightened, as if it had thought of something, and immediately said, "Long Fei? Chaos Realm's Long Fei? I never thought that you would actually be sent to the Devil Island. This is what happens when you go against me. Originally, you could have become my evil oracle, but you chose to be a dog instead. Ha ha ha. Now, I'll give you one more chance. As long as you kneel down and submit to me, I'll spare your dog life." Not only did Long Fei reject the evil god from Chaos Realm, he also killed one of his idea. Long Fei smirked and said, "I can kill one of your idea in Chaos Realm, and I can kill 18 generations of your ancestors here. Understand?" King Titan. The Titan King in the Devil's Sword slightly moved, and a gobbledygook appeared in Long Fei's sea of consciousness. "Descend for me, the stellar world." Chapter 1840. I'm going to send him to heaven. Chapter 1840. I'm going to send him to heaven. The first page of the star book opened. A ray of starlight sprinkled down. Thinking about it, the Death Star that Long Fei had fused with didn't have too much of a change from before. However, he did not need it to change now. The Death Star was his weapon. Long Fei lifted the sky with his right hand. It looked like he was holding something up. Suddenly, the sky split open, and as if pressed down by some kind of immense force, a violent gale gushed down from the sky, crushing everything in its path. A huge sphere in the sky that was like a falling moon. The scene was extremely shocking. Everyone looked up at the sky. What's that? Another world. What is it? Along, what is the background of this little guy? Seeing Long Fei unleash such a powerful and strange power, they couldn't help but feel shock in their hearts. To be able to summon out an entire plane of existence, what kind of power was that? The space between the brows of the separation of evil spirits tightened as he said coldly, "Long Fei, I never thought that after so many years, your strength has indeed grown quite a bit. However, the evil god laughed disdainfully. This is the ancient holy battlefield plain, but you are only an ant-like existence. You are too weak. Kill them all. The separation of evil spirits' voice fell. Evil god army pounced towards Long Fei like a mad dog. The corner of Long Fei's mouth twitched and excitedly laughed. I'm too weak. But I haven't seen how strong you are either. Explode for me. Long Fei released his right hand, and his body floated in midair. Rumble! 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 Thunder rumbled from all directions. There were endless explosions as the gigantic Death Star smashed down. Without any additional strength, divine force, or star power, or even more so, the power of the universal world, it just smashed down. The huge planet smashed down. Starbook Long Fei had never had the time to cultivate, and cultivation of gobbledygook required more than just time to cultivate. They also needed more time to comprehend. The key thing was, in these 100,000 plane worlds, the Starbook was not able to completely unleash his power. Long Fei was in no hurry to cultivate. Boom! As the Death Star descended, crackling sounds of explosions exploded, as though a large swath of worms had been trampled to death, unceasingly. At the same time, System Beep-S in Long Fei's mind also exploded crazily. Ding! 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 Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Evil God Soldier, for obtaining 1,000 experience, 100 holy power value, 1 metamorphic energy value. Ding! He did not have much experience, but the amount he received was extremely huge. Less than 10 seconds after the Death Star dropped, a leveling up notification rang in Long Fei's mind. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level 8 red star. It instantly leveled up. Boom! The Death Star went berserk, the huge impact turning a large portion of the evil god soldiers into dust. In that instant, the leveling up notification rang out once again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level 9 red star. 1 minute was less than 2 levels. What a great show of strength. Long Fei was ecstatic. He shouted out loudly, "Who else?" The separation of evil spirits floated in the air without any hurry. It looked at Long Fei with a cold smile and said, "It's just a clown. Do you think you can fly after killing these useless soldiers?" "Humph! Long Fei, you're too arrogant." Long Fei laughed. "That's right. Why don't you bite me?" Separation of evil spirits' eyes darkened and said, "You? Now, you don't even have the qualifications for me to do anything." In that instant, with a flip of his right hand, another large group of evil god army rushed out of the darkness. Then let's just kill enough. The great army was like a surging tide that surged towards them. These were all experience points. With Long Fei consecutively rising to 2 levels, the evil god soldier only had 500 experience left. However, stared excitedly at the huge wave of experience and said, "This is for me to break through to the purple gold realm." Tai Ten King. The remnant soul of the Tai Ten King said, lightly, "Master, you have already used it once. If you use it again, the Death Star you fused with will disappear, and the gobbledygook will also disappear from your sea of consciousness. Stars can't be used like this. How can you use it as a weapon?" Huh. Long Fei was slightly startled. He had not researched how to form gobbledygook, and he did not know what its drawbacks were. Hearing what Tai Ten King said, he was a little confused. Damn, what do we do now? He had used up all the skills he could use, so the only thing left was to use Blasting Fist. What was he going to do? Long Fei did not lock him up. The separation of evil spirits disdainfully laughed. Long Fei, summon your boulder again, and I will see whether you are strong or my evil god army is strong. What I said earlier was still valid. As long as you kneel down and kowtow to me and submit to me, I will consider letting you live. I will also bring you out of Devil Island. You have to know that in this world, no one other than me will take you away from the Devil Island. Otherwise, you will forever die in the Devil Island. This is the forbidden land of the gods. You should be clear about this. Kneel. The separation of evil spirits was exceptionally pleased. He just wanted to see Long Fei kneel before him in submission. As soon as his voice faded, the millions of evil god army also heavily shouted, "Kneel!" A heavy encirclement. Long Fei could not escape now. However, the Long family did not kneel, neither did they kneel to the heavens. Never did they kneel for anyone. What did the evil god count for? Buzz buzz. With one hand holding the fire dragon knife and the other holding the crimson red burning devil sword, Long Fei stared at the evil god in the air and said, "Kneel before the 8 ancestors." Boom! With a single chop of the saber, a soldier was instantly cut in half. If he didn't submit, it was the same as going back to the family. Long Fei started killing crazily. This left the giants dumbstruck. Brave warrior. He is a true warrior. Then, Along shouted, "Protect the warrior." And then, the harpoon in Along's hands jerked, and his body leaped into the air, heavily landing beside Long Fei. Seeing Long Fei's wild slaughter, he grinned in excitement, laughed, and said, "Let's kill together." Ha ha ha. 100 giants joined in the battle, quickly helping Long Fei to get out of it. Long Fei leaped onto Along's shoulder and said, "Do you believe me?" Along said without hesitation, "To never surrender is the will of our giant clan's legacy. You are also a person like us that never surrender, so I believe in you." Long Fei said, "All right, bring me to the separation of evil spirits. I want him dead." Along watched as the overwhelming number of evil god army surged over. They could not even be killed, and in the end, they would be exhausted to death. Both of his fists clenched tightly. Along nodded. "Okay, brothers, open up a path for me. I will send him to heaven." Advertisement, charge. The battle strength of 100 giants was incomparably shocking. Long Fei would never forget that kind of rampaging, crushing image of the impact in his life. This made him even more determined to bring these guys back. Along shouted and said, "Capture him well." He pushed off with his hind legs. Boom! With a single step, Long Fei traveled 100 meters and stood on top of Along's shoulder to feel the howling wind. He's really strong. Too damn strong. Long Fei was extremely shocked in his heart. At the same time, Long Fei's gaze firmly locked onto the separation of evil spirits that was floating in midair, not the slightest bit afraid. "I really can't think of how your giant clan could survive until now. With your low level of intelligence, you actually believe in a weak human? Ha ha ha. What a bunch of retards." The separation of evil spirits said disdainfully, even though Long Fei had displayed power that he had never seen before, he did not place Long Fei in his eyes at all. Because no matter how strong a person of the Red Star realm was, how strong could he be? The realm represented everything. Separation of evil spirits watched as 100 giants opened a path for Long Fei and said disdainfully, "Brainless retard who doesn't know the limits of the heavens, let me summarize your giant clan today." Buzz. The use of separation of evil spirits. In the darkness. Roar. With a roar, an incomparably ferocious beast rushed out of the darkness. On the back of the beast stood a dark knight in black armor. The spear flashed with a cold light. He swiftly charged towards the 100 giants. A giant immediately shouted, Dark Knight. The faces of the giants changed slightly. Long Fei looked over, his heart trembling. The auras of these knights were extremely dense, and the key thing was the spears in their hands, as well as the extremely quick impact. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Along the way, all of the evil god soldiers were sent flying. However, their speed hadn't decreased in the slightest. Boom! With a thrust of his spear, the vicious beast collided. A giant was knocked backwards, the black spear piercing through his chest. Dozens of giants were blocked in an instant. As the defensive line collapsed, the evil god soldiers swarmed forward. Hold on! A giant old man swung his battle axe and shouted out. Another wave of giants went up to block it. Can you handle it? The evil god sneered. He flung his sleeves and faintly said, With just you two? Buzz. The door of darkness opened once again, and this time even more vicious dark knights charged out. The giant's body was huge and powerful, but the impact force of the knights on the plains was much stronger. A single charge had destroyed the giant clan's defense, and if they were to do it again, the giant clan would definitely not be able to withstand it. He wasn't afraid of a duel. However, it was impossible for the knights to stop them from charging towards the giant clan. Long Fei looked in her eyes and anxiously kept it in her heart. Boom, boom. There were constantly giant clan-esque killing to pave the way for a long, and constantly giants falling, entangled by countless evil god soldiers, tightly bound. Quick, quick, quick. Hold on, hold on. It was unknown when they had placed all their hopes on Long Fei. Along was the same. Rumble. Along looked at the giant behind him, and then looked at the separation of evil spirits not far away. The harpoon in his hand shook and let out a heavy roar. I'll send you to the heavens. And then he stuck the harpoon in, causing one of the dark knights to fall onto the ground. With a leap, he grabbed Long Fei with his palm and threw him fiercely towards the separation of evil spirits, and said, Everything is up to you. That lord once said that you can save our giant clan. I hope. You are the person the Lord spoke of. Rumble. Along fell to the ground, with tens of dark knights charging forward. In the air, Long Fei quickly shot out like a cannonball. Seeing giant clan fall one by one, Long Fei felt extremely displeased. They are mine. We can't touch them. Evil God, you motherf asterisk king shit. Lousy will definitely blast you to death. Long Fei roared, his anger surging out. He was getting closer and closer to the separation of evil spirits. Separation of evil spirits laughed coldly. Ha ha ha. Long Fei, you are still the same as before. Arrogant, conceited, arrogant. Is it useful? What else do you have? You are just a lowly ant in front of me. You understand? Buzz. Just now, Long Fei could clearly see that a huge boulder had been crushed into powder in an instant. If he were to knock into it himself, he would have turned into powder as well. Could the god's immortal bead resurrect the him that was in powder form? I can't say. Long Fei did not want to die again. His fists moved. Gudong. Gulp. Gudong. His arms were crimson red as they burned. Long Fei's heart trembled slightly. This was the first time he had seen the dragon-shaped mark on his own shoulder. Why do I have a tattoo on my shoulder? Or a tattoo of pigeon blood? It was crimson red, as if it had been tempered with fresh blood. Boom, boom. Energy impact. Long Fei locked onto the separation of evil spirits and growled out in a deep tone, other than me being arrogant, I also have one more thing, which is to smash you to death. Explode. Rampage blasting fist. One with 10 gods. Open. Long Fei roared. He combined his fists and struck at the separation of evil spirits not far away. At the same time, he hesitated. The strength that a Long had thrown was too strong. Long Fei was unable to stop himself. He could only forcefully smash into the boundary halo. Now, let's see who dies first. The separation of evil spirits looked at the power that exploded out from Long Fei's fist, and looked down on it, and said, "You want to kill me with this kind of power? If I hadn't intentionally spared your life in Chaos Realm, do you think you would have lived until today?" The evil god's eyes turned cold, and the halo boundary dashed forward. "Ah!" Long Fei roared. It was about to collide. Instantly, the exploded on the separation of evil spirits as the 10 gods merged together. At this moment, the separation of evil spirits trembled slightly, and he felt the power explode on his body. His facial expression changed drastically. F***CK, rumble. A massive explosion shook the sky. It was already the wee hours of the morning on the edge of the Devil Hills' cliff. Nia Lin nestled into Yen Nanshan's embrace and said gently, "You will make me do well in tomorrow's competition, right?" Yen Nantian hugged Nia Lin tightly and said, "Junior sister, I will open a path for you. No one can stop you." Suddenly, a loud sound rang out. Nia Lin looked down the abyss and said slightly, "Long Fei, you're not still alive, right?" Yen Nantian sneered and said, "If he's still alive, I'll kill him again." Chapter 1842, Power of Transcendence. Chapter 1842, Power of Transcendence left the world. Boom! With a loud explosion, the separation of evil spirits' body was no longer able to withstand the power of one of the 10 gods. Moreover, he couldn't dodge or defend. After being hit, the separation of evil spirits released a ghastly wail. He himself did not understand. How could a Red Star Realm warrior be able to harm him? But now, he didn't need to understand any of this. "Explode for me." Long Fei was about to place a barrier of light around him, and his life was hanging by a thread. If he were to collide with it, he might also die, and even the god's immortal bead would not be able to save him. Rumble! Half of the separation of evil spirits' body exploded, as the separation of evil spirits deeply roared. "Long Fei, I will definitely not let you go, definitely not." Rumble! Another loud sound rang out, and half of his body exploded again. He could see the bottom of the gash on the top of his head. Long Fei looked at the halo boundary in front of him, his eyes glaring at him. "It's going to crash. It's going to crash." F***CK. The moment they were about to collide, the death of the halo boundary disappeared and turned into a thin layer of light without any damage. However, when Long Fei bumped into this thin layer of light, one of his profound spirit chi was sucked away. Next, a huge face appeared in the sky and said with a slight smile, "When I was at Chaos Realm, I had thought that you were extraordinary. You really did not disappoint me. Long Fei, follow me. I bestow you the title of Great Holy General. The day when I attack Main Temple, you will control over 10,000 planes, up to and below 1 person. Evil God Real Face." Hanging in the sky, all of the evil god knights and soldiers prostrated themselves in unison. The people from the giant clan were also shocked inwardly. Long Fei said, "I am not normal by following others. How about this? Evil God, you follow me. I promise I will overturn Main Temple one by one." Ha ha! The shadow of the evil god Real Face laughed wildly, retracting his laughter as he shouted, "Long Fei, don't give me face. I'll give you a way out. As long as you agree, I will bring you out from Devil Island. If you don't agree—" Long Fei's tone also changed as she said, "If you don't agree, what do you think?" The evil god Real Face laughed coldly and said, "If you don't agree, I won't do anything to you. The best punishment for a person like you is to forever be trapped in this small Devil Island and never be able to take a step out of there." You really want to enter the ancient holy battlefield. You really want to save your family and kill Destiny God, right? You want to change the rules and change your fate, right? If you can't leave the Devil Island, all of this is just a dream, and it will never happen. Only I can make you leave. The evil god knew everything that had happened in the Chaos Realm, and also knew what the Destiny God had done to Long Fei. He knew more than anyone what kind of existence the Devil Island was. You want to get out of here? It was impossible. The Forsaken God world wasn't that easy to leave. The evil god looked like he was giving out alms as he said, "Without me, you will never be able to leave, understand?" Long Fei clenched his fists tightly. He knew that it would be extremely difficult to rush out of Devil Island, but he never expected it to be so difficult. However, Long Fei's gaze was firm as he said, "There is no one in this world who can stop me, no one who can stop me. You cannot, the main temple cannot, even the sovereign who controls 100,000 planes cannot. If his mother could break free, so could he." The evil god laughed disdainfully. "Then you can just die in this Devil Island." Ha ha ha. The shadow of evil god in the sky slowly disappeared, and the evil god army on the ground also retreated like the tide, transforming into a jet black ball of chi and disappeared into the plains. Long Fei descended from the sky. The system beeped. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing separation of evil spirits for obtaining 100 million experience, 1 million holy power value, and 1 metamorphic energy value. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up to level 4. Current level, Purple Star level, 4. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the upgrade reward. The reward item is Dragon King's seal. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up to level 8 consecutively. Current level, 77. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the Save the Giant Clan mission. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining task reward. Level +2, special reward. Giant Clan's Trust, Strength of the Giant, Giant Axe. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently level, Purple Star level 6. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward. Do you want to cultivate the power of transcendence? The system kept beeping. Long Fei's eardrums were about to burst. The only pity was nothing from the separation of evil spirits dropped, but Long Fei had already prepared in his heart. Although he was a boss, he was only a doppelganger. Besides experience, he wouldn't drop anything. He wouldn't explode. However, the system had blown up. Level dropped. In a short moment, he consecutively exploded with his level 6 power, and his power was like boiling water as it frantically rolled. Compared to the Red Star realm, Long Fei's power was becoming even more turbulent and powerful. This was the power after leveling up. This feeling was extremely refreshing. Dragon King Seal? Long Fei looked at the dragon seal that was floating in his mind, a true dragon chi revolving around the seal. What is this? Not a holy artifact. It wasn't a cultivation technique. It couldn't be called a special item. Dragon seal? King of True Dragons. Long Fei looked at the description given by the system and thought to himself, could this be the seal of the divinity's dragon clan? The dragon-shaped mark on this seal is very fond of my arm. Long Fei thought about the seal on his arm again and immediately kept it among the space ring. He then turned to look at another item that was rewarded by the system. What's that? Item. Power of Supergod type. Power type grade. Divine level description. Each kill adds a layer of strength to the attack. The time allotted to kill each person must not be more than 30 seconds. consecutive beheading of 7 people would give the players supernatural strength, allowing them to deal tons of damage, causing the player's body to go berserk. Description: killing must be done from the weakest to the strongest. Super God. What's a ton of damage? Long Fei's eyes lit up, the corners of his mouth raised slightly. He was looking forward to it. At this time, Giant Clan Along walked to Long Fei's side and slowly knelt down. At this moment, all 108 warriors kneeled down and kowtowed. Giant Clan never gives in, but they would kneel before the king. Long Fei was the king in their hearts, a king that even the evil god did not put in his eyes. Chapter 1843, 12 Killers. Chapter 1843, 12 Killers, Giant Tribe. The war subsided, and from now on the evil god would not come back here anymore. However, although they had won the battle and there were no deaths in Giant Clan, most of them were seriously injured and had no fighting strength left. Long Fei had cultivated an alchemy technique before. During this period of time, he had gathered all kinds of rare spirit grass and quickly refined sets after sets of high-level healing pellets. This pill is too magical. I feel like my injuries have mostly healed. Lord, you really are a god. I was too disrespectful to you before. I apologize for my actions. The highest grade medicine powder controlled their injuries, and after a period of rest, they should be completely healed. After working for a few hours, Long Fei finally stopped and looked up at the sky. At this moment, the sky had already brightened. The events of the previous night had seemed like a dream. Today was the last day of the exchange, so he had to go back. Otherwise, Long Fei did not want to let Yen Nantian have a comfortable life. If he could not stomp the 2 of them to death on the stage today, then he would be very unhappy. In a large house, Long Fei looked at the 12 corpses of the Hell Reaper S who had lost their consciousness. Is there any hope? These Hell Reaper S were discovered by them and brought back after they were smashed down. It was just that. Even if they fell from such a high place without any consciousness, they still wouldn't be able to bear it. A giant old man with long white hair held an ancient walking stick, walked around the bodies of the 12 Hell Reaper, then looked at Long Fei and said, "It is fine to save them, but to save them can only mean that we have no fighting power, unless—" Long Fei's heart trembled, and he immediately asked, "Unless what?" He really did not want to miss out on Hell Reaper's explosive fighting strength. Only with these guys here would he be able to rush up to Devil Hills. The giant old man said, "If you want him to recover his strength and become even stronger, unless to inject the power of a giant, you will also need the blood of a true dragon." The power of a giant. Blood of the true dragon? Long Fei said, "I have the power of a giant, but the blood of a true dragon. He is a member of the Long family. He is also the reincarnation of the Yuan Long, but he was Long Fei. True dragon? He never knew who the true dragon was." The giant old man looked at Long Fei and said, "The human that came here 1,000 years ago had left a prophecy that someone would come to save the giant clan 1,000 years from now. That person is the true dragon." "Me, true dragon?" Long Fei was dumbstruck and muttered in his heart, "Oh, how could I be a true dragon?" Long Fei said, "Senior, if my blood was not true dragon blood, what would happen to them?" The giant elder said, "They will die." Long Fei was silent for a moment, then said, "All right, we will just die trying to kill them. Even if I am not a true dragon, they will still die just the same. It was my mother's prophecy. He is the son of a true dragon." Long Fei was very clear of his own identity. He was indeed Long Fei, not some Yuan Long, nor was he a true dragon. If he really had to say, he was just an ordinary otaku from the 21st century. Huff! Long Fei let out a light breath and cut his own palm, causing blood to drip. Drop by drop, they fell into the mouths of the Hell Reaper S. At the same time, he handed over the giant's power that was rewarded by the system to the giant old man. The old man's eyes lit up. What a pure giant's power! You are indeed the king of the prophecy. And then the old man unleashed his full power. An ancient power exploded in the old man's hand. After Long Fei was done, he stood quietly by the side and watched. Half a minute later, buzz! A cracking sound could be heard, and one of the Hell Reaper's bodies suddenly sprung. Their 4 limbs twitched, and a strong energy continued to rampage within his body. The joints exploded. It was as if his body had been redeveloped in an instant. Even by standing at the side, Long Fei could clearly feel the rich and boundless energy within their bodies. Next, the other bodies reacted as well. One after another, powerful energies surged through their bodies. This feeling, Long Fei was unable to understand it, but he believed that it must be extremely exciting. It must be great. Rumble! With a loud noise, a power exploded out of Hell Reaper's body, and his eyes snapped open. Buzz! He stood up with a height of over 3 meters. Black shiny muscles. Every part of their bodies flashed with a tyrannical aura. They wanted to become more perfect than the previous Hell Reaper. Their body proportions and muscle stripes were all perfect. Long Fei watched everything excitedly. One after another of the Hell Reaper S jumped up and uniformly stood in front of Long Fei. At this time, Long Fei's psychic contract could clearly sense the minds of all of them, and it could also be said that they no longer had any consciousness, because their consciousness had been completely replaced by Long Fei's. Long Fei slightly said, "From today until now, from this second onwards, you are my 12 assassins. I will make you all the top assassins in the world, assassins that even God stepped on to death." The 12 Hell Reaper S did not move. There was no expression, no reaction. Icy, without any emotions or desires, they would only listen to orders. This was what a super killer was. Long Fei was extremely excited in his heart. 8 King Kong, 12 killers. What's next is the 108 giant generals. Ha! Ancient holy battlefield. I must go. Long Fei moved his body and returned the 12 killers into the Sumi rings, then said lightly, "Kill all the demon beast inside. Remember, you cannot let even ants get away with it." Sumi rings cannot pretend to be human. However, if he was willing, then it would be a different story. Furthermore, the 12 killers were under Long Fei's control. The 12 killers entered the Sumi rings and instantly activated their slaughter mode, slaughtering crazily. Long Fei walked out of the room. Outside the room was a huge plaza, and on the plaza, 107 giant warrior S stood there quietly. The moment Long Fei walked out of the room, all of them looked at Long Fei. Giant clan. Every one of them was like a mountain. The giant elder also walked out of the room and stood by the side. He said, "The Lord from 1,000 years ago once said that you would bring us out of here." Long Fei said straightforwardly, "My path is incredibly difficult. My goal is to crush Main Temple and create a new world." The giant elder said, "You are the king, and you are a true dragon. You will stand above this world. It is our honor to be able to create a new world with you. Giant Clan's honor. On the grand path, our giant clan will do everything we can to help you clear the way." Chapter 1844. The Return of the King. Chapter 1844. The Return of the King, the moment the giant old man finished speaking. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, all of Giant Clan kneeled down. The scene was extremely shocking. Long Fei was completely stunned. The giant elder looked at Long Fei and said, "Our giant clan will only swear once in our life. This is the first time. Take us with you." The 100 giants shouted at the same time, "Take us away." Long Fei was overwhelmed with shock. With 108 giants, their fighting strength there was nothing to boast about. Immediately, Long Fei said heavily, "All right, then accompany me on my journey to kill him." The idea moved. The Sumi rings kept all of them inside. Afterwards, Lin Fei looked up to the sky and grinned excitedly. "Yen Nantian, are you ready? I'm coming." A Hell Reaper was summoned and stood quietly beside Long Fei. "Send me up." Devil Hills. God Rare Sect. Sovereign, I don't know who took away those 3 corpses. A disciple reported. Jin Chan waved his hand and said, "If they're taken, then so be it. Even if they're saved, they're only 3 pieces of trash. Today is my big day. I will definitely become a new king and enter the Devil Temple. Because of me, the God Rare Sect will once again reach the peak." Ha ha! Jin Chan laughed out loud in excitement. He was wearing a gorgeous golden robe. He was in high spirits. The corner of Jin Chan's mouth revealed a smile and said, "Master, just wait until I return." At this time, another disciple walked in and said, "Sect Master, I received news last night that loud noises were constantly heard from the abyss below Devil Hills. There are rumors that Long Fei is not dead yet. Could he be?" Jin Chan's gaze retracted and said, "So, what if he doesn't die? If he's not dead, can he still turn the sky upside down?" "A Long Fei." "Humph." Jin Chan coldly snorted and said, "He's just a trash whose talent has been crippled. Dog meat will never be able to make it. Furthermore, it's the meat of a dead dog. Ha ha! Let's go. Follow me to the arena." Jin Chan walked out with a few junior brothers following closely behind him. Today was the last day of the exchange, and it was also the most exciting day. Today was the martial arts competition, the true competition. The first 2 days were merely an exchange of auxiliary method. Alchemy, refining was indeed important, but this world still determined strength and fists. And Nye Lin are the only 2 left in 10 disciples. This year's new king will definitely be one of them. Who will be the new king? Of course, it's definitely Yen Nantian. I think so too. Nye Lin is a woman after all. Her cultivation is not as good as Yen Nantian's. You can't say, what if Yen Nantian deliberately loses to Nye Lin? It is his own woman anyways. To be able to obtain such a beautiful Nye Lin, I am willing to give up my new king. Damn, that's what you think because you're weak. There are countless inheritances power in the Devil Temple, and any one of them can allow you to advance by leaps and bounds. Not to mention your own woman, even your biological father, wouldn't let you go. If Long Fei is still talking, then this exchange will be a little interesting. What a pity, fighting with someone else, and even going against the Hell Reaper. Isn't that equivalent to seeking death? That's right, that Long Fei is really impressive. He actually managed to suppress 8 Hell Reaper-S. I have to admit that he is indeed outstanding. Have you heard? Last night, there were continuous loud explosions coming from the depths of the demon abyss. Some people said that Long Fei is not dead yet. I heard that too. So what if he's not dead? Could he still come back? Even if he doesn't die, he can't change anything. He's still not Yen Nantian's match. And even if he comes back, he will only be stepped on once more by Yen Nantian. Countless discussions were going on in the stands. It basically revolved around Yen Nantian, Nye Lin, and Long Fei. Not long later, when the people of 10 sects took their positions, the surrounding area became even more lively. Today's match would determine the fate of many people, the fate of many sects and sects. No one wanted to lose. Even the sects that had lost their 10 disciples were competing in secret. At this time, Yen Nantian is here. Look, he's holding Nye Lin's hand. Wow, it's even a perfect match. This is too enviable. Yen Nantian held Nye Lin's hand and walked out slowly with a happy smile on his face. Nye Lin was the same. She looked like a blissful little girl, with a blush on her face, making her look even more beautiful, making others unable to forget her. Yen Nantian walked forward and slightly pressed down with his hands. The audience fell silent. Yen Nantian looked at Nye Lin with eyes filled with love and said, "After today's exchange, no matter who wins or loses, I will still take Nye Lin as my wife. Junior sister Nye, are you willing to marry me?" The entire audience was in an uproar. This was a public proposal. Although there were rumors that Nye Lin had already agreed to it yesterday, it was all just a rumor. How enviable! Hurry up and accept it. Promise him, promise him. Many people started talking loudly. Nye Lin looked at Yen Nantian with a serious face as well. Yen Nantian laughed and said, "Linner, I will always love you." Nye Lin lowered her head, her blush becoming thicker, and said incomparably bashfully, "I will also forever love you, brother Tian." My heart broke just like that. Yen Nantian, I love you too. Sigh. So my goddess is going to be married. Why is that? A wave of heartache began to spread among the youths. However, two of the sects were overjoyed. The sect Yen Nantian was in, and also the Xianyang sect he was in. It could be said, now that the Rookie King was in their hands, they would have to see who was given the spot. A strong alliance. The 8 great sects were completely in despair. Even the mighty and domineering Xiao Yao Palace was defeated like a rooster devoid of energy. But at this moment, a person slowly walked over from the cliff. He had a faint smile on his face as he said, "Loving and loving, dying quickly. I want to verify this sentence with you." The instant he walked out of the crowd, the old monk's eyes flashed. The king will descend once again. The king will descend once again. Prophecy. The prophecy from 1,000 years ago is about to come true. Next, the big door of the Devil Temple opened halfway. Bawang Hua, Wang Tai, LV Shuangchuan walked out from inside and slowly stood behind Long Fei. Everyone was dumbfounded. Chapter 1845. One slap killed Jin Chan. Chapter 1845. One slap killed Jin Chan. Long Fei. He's back. He's not dead. My God, how is this possible? What just happened? Did my eyes go blurry? The Devil Temple actually opened half of the gate, and the 3 people that were injured by the Hell Reaper last night actually walked out from inside. Long Fei's appearance and the appearance of the 3 from Bawang Hua caused an uproar within the audience. At the same time, after snatching away the limelight from Yen Nantian's proposal, there was no one left to worry about Yen Nantian and Nye Lin's proposal. Long Fei, how did you survive? Long Fei, where are the Hell Reaper-s? Did you kill them all? Long Fei, what exactly is inside the demon abyss? Is there really an endless number of demons? Long Fei, how did you manage to climb up? Long Fei, why were your 3 friends accepted by the Devil Temple? Last night, the old monk was there to help you. Why would he help you? Many people rushed down and surrounded Long Fei. For Long Fei to appear was a complete miracle. A person must be curious about miracles. He suddenly became the center of this exchange. This made Yen Nantian feel extremely unhappy, and Nye Lin's expression became extremely unsightly. They were originally the main characters, but the moment Long Fei appeared, they immediately turned into running dragons. Long Fei's appearance directly gave them a slap a slap on the face. Nia Lin's eyes were extremely cold. Yen Nantian slightly said, "Don't worry, I will definitely kill him again. Little sister Lin, I will do everything I can to let you enter the Devil Temple." Yen Nantian swore heavily, amongst the crowd. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Everything will be displayed in the competition arena, and all of you will see what you want to see." Long Fei walked into the stadium, looked at the lonely Yen Nantian and Nia Lin on the stage, and laughed indifferently. "You're very surprised, right?" Yen Nantian sneered and said, "So what if I'm back? Do you want to overturn the heavens?" Nia Lin revealed a surprised look and said, "Long Fei, it's really great that you're fine. Okay, I'm not dead. You should be the most disappointed, right? Junior sister Nia Lin." Long Fei looked at Nia Lin and said, "The more beautiful a woman is, the more vicious and vicious they will be. I didn't believe them in the past, but now I believe them." Nia Lin's eyes darkened, revealing a look of deep sorrow. "Long Fei, I know I've hurt you, but emotional matters can only be settled if you're willing to help me. I really don't like you, and we're destined to not be together. I've already told you this when you knelt in front of me." As soon as he finished, the scene was in an uproar. Long Fei kneeled before Nia Lin. "It can't be. Is this Long Fei going to confess and kneel down to stay? Isn't it too shameless to be rejected like this? Shameless." Nia Lin's eyes were full of playfulness and thought in his heart, "So what if I'm back? I can still make you smelly for 10,000 years. Who would believe a trash whose talent has been crippled?" "Ha ha ha." Yen Nantian gently pulled Nia Lin into his embrace and said, "Brat, if I were you, I wouldn't have come back even if I were alive. Why would I have come back to be humiliated again? However, just based on what you said just now, it's not as simple as being humiliated. I will trample you to death in the arena." The chi on Yen Nantian's body surged violently. Long Fei laughed. Humans were shameless, and they were unrivaled in the world. The Bawang Hua was so angry that he wanted to rush forward, but he was stopped by Long Fei. "Brother Fei, isn't it too despicable for this woman to humiliate you like this? I used to think she was human, but now she's just a crazy bitch, worse than a bitch." Even the usually quiet Wang Tai was enraged. Long Fei said, "There's no need to rush. It's just a pair of idiots and a man. Today, I have plenty of time to slowly play with them to death." Anger was swelling in his heart. He felt displeased. Now that his cultivation had gone up to hit one, even if it wasn't the two of them, he would be able to seriously injure them. But Long Fei did not do so. He had to play slowly, play them to death. Therefore, Long Fei was not in a rush. Powerhouse was fearless. A few humiliating words. Long Fei wanted him to pay the price of several tons per ton. Then, Long Fei walked back to the position of the god Rare Sect. Jin Chan coldly snorted and said, "Long Fei, you trash, your god Rare Sect's face has been completely thrown away by you." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei's footsteps moved and instantly landed in front of Jin Chan. The two were not even half a meter apart, and Long Fei raised his right hand. He opened up his palm and slapped down. Jin Chan's pupils suddenly shrank. At this moment, he basically did not have any time to react. Pa! With an explosive sound, his head circled around his neck continuously. The gash on top of his head also disappeared in an instant. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Jin Chan for obtaining 5,000 experience, 500 holy power value, and 1 energy values. Congratulations, player! 1 slap, 1 kill. Moreover, after slapping the slap down, Long Fei didn't even look at Jin Chan and said coldly, "I said it before, if you're King long-winded, this old man will take your life." As soon as his words fell, he kicked the dead Jin Chan off his seat and sat down on his, but he glared coldly at the few junior brothers of Jin Chan around him and said, "Drag him down and feed him to the dogs." A disciple shouted, "Long Fei, how dare you?" Bam! Long Fei moved again and slapped him again. "That's right, I have a lot of guts. Did you only King know it now? Drag the two of them down and feed them to the dogs." 2 moves in a row. He did not use any martial skills. Instead, he just swatted down with his palms. 10 disciples who had been training for 10 years killed 2 people in an instant. The 2 elders were stunned. The remaining disciples also quickly reacted, all of them lowering their heads, and dragged Jin Chan and the other 2 away. In the past, he would need to use the blasting fist to kill people, but now, a person like Jin Chan did not even need to use any techniques. "From now on, I am the leader." "Understood," Long Fei said coldly. "I don't care how you complain when you go back, but if anyone doesn't listen to me now, they will die." With that, Long Fei looked at the stage. At this time, the presided elders walked forward and said, "Today is 10 sex exchange's last day, and also the day of martial arts exchange. The martial arts exchange is divided into 2 parts. One is a single-man competition, and the other is a team competition. The martial arts battle exchange will begin now." Chapter 1846, Bawang Hua, Out of Control. Chapter 1846, Bawang Hua, Out of Control. The first part is a team battle. Please send out your teams from the big sections. 5-man team. In a team battle, 5 people had to be formed, because this competition was not only about combat strength, but also a sense of tacit understanding. Long Fei looked at the 3 Bawang Hua's and asked, "Do you want to go up?" Wang Tai took the lead and said, "Yes." LV Shuangchuan said, "Brother Fei, although my cultivation is not very high, but I want to go as well. To say that I'm not afraid of your jokes is also my dream. Hee hee." LV Shuangchuan scratched his head and laughed. I didn't dare to think about it before. But now, he had learned a lot during his one night in Devil Temple. Bawang Hua replied, "I want." Long Fei slightly smiled and said, "Who else wants to go up? By the way, let me remind you that you might die in the arena." The remaining 4 disciples immediately shrank back, not daring to step forward. It was not because they were afraid, but because they hated Long Fei. A 5-man team battle. If there were fewer people, their fighting strength would be greatly reduced. Long Fei laughed. "It seems that none of you want to fight." An elder said, "The God Rare sect needs you. For the sake of the God Rare sect, you must fight." One of the disciples immediately said, "I don't want to die in there. Long Fei has offended so many people, their team will definitely go all out to kill him. I don't want to be cannon fodder." The elder cried out, "You—" Long Fei laughed. "Don't worry. I've never liked making things difficult." Long Fei asked, "Can the 3 of you do it?" Long Fei did not want to make a move. He knew that Yen, Nantian, and Nie Lin would not appear either. They would never appear in such a team battle and would focus all their attention on individual battles. This was because the individual competition had the best points. As long as they won the match, they could become the new king. If they didn't come out, Long Fei naturally wouldn't want to either. Wang Tai said, "It was impossible before, but now, no problem." Long Fei said, "All right, then the 3 of you go. The others aren't important. The most important thing is to protect your lives." Bawang Hua and the other 2 immediately attracted everyone's attention as they walked towards the stage. Why, only the God Rare sect sent 3 people out. Does no one want to fight? Why is Long Fei not going to fight yourself? 3 teams are just looking to die. I really don't know what they're thinking. Sigh. I still had some expectations for the God Rare sect, but now it seems that they are really just a bunch of crippled sects. Even their brains are crippled. Many of the people nearby began to mock him. Yen Nantian also sneered and said, "Long Fei, after killing your sect leader, you can't even send people out. You want to fight with me over something like this? You overestimate yourself." Nyalin also let out a disdainful sneer. Senior brother of the Southern Sky region, they are the God Rare sect, the crippled sects. Aren't they the same type of team as the disabled sects? That's true. Crippled sect, crippled team. The 3 of you can't really be called crippled team, right? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. When their voices resounded throughout the entire arena, many people in the surrounding area burst into laughter. Ba Wanghua was furious. Wang Tai frowned, his fists clenched tightly. LV Shuangchuan laughed sinisterly. There was no way the 3 teams could win. The cultivation levels of the 3 of them were very weak. What could they do even if they stayed in Devil Temple for the whole night? Nothing can change. Of course. No one knew what they experienced last night. The top 10 teams began appearing one after another. Aside from the 3 God Rare sect as who were substitutes, the other sects were all elites among elites. Every disciple was at least in the Blue Star realm. If one were to compare cultivation base, he could completely destroy God Rare sect. An elder said, "Long Fei, the 3-man team is impossible to win. Rather than letting them die, it's better to just give up." Long Fei said, "There is nothing that is impossible in this world." Buzz. With a gong, the presided elders released a sound. The team exchange begins now. A free-for-all. Whoever wins in the arena will be the victor. As soon as he finished speaking, all of the teams in the arena shuddered. But no one moved. The 9 squads all looked at Bawanghua's team of 3, and the Xianyang sect disciples laughed. The weak can be eliminated first. Are you guys jumping off yourself? Or do you want us to fight and climb down? All the members of the 9 battle teams revealed cold smiles as they looked at Bawanghua and the other 2 with contempt. 9 against 1. If not for the fact that God Rare sect is crippled, he would probably be crippled by now. There's no hope. What's the use of a 3-man team? Long Fei's commanding ability is too weak. Isn't this too unfair? Fair? Humph, what is fair in this world? The weak must be bullied by the powerhouse. This is reality. This is the way of kings. 9 teams, 45 elite disciples against 3 people. However, Wang Tai laughed excitedly. With a slight movement, all of the bones in his body began to emit popping sounds. Looking at the disciple who was speaking to the Xianyang sect, he said, "You will be the first one to climb down." As soon as he finished, boom, Wang Tai suddenly rushed forward, his fists like cannons, his legs taking a strange stance, as though lightning was striking down with his fists. Boom. After hitting his abdomen, the Xianyang sect disciple immediately kneeled onto the ground, his hands covering his abdomen as black blood spewed out of his mouth, and he rolled on the ground in pain. Along with Wang Tai's explosive move, the battle on the stage continued. Bawanghua's fists were trembling. The armor on her body made Long Fei seem like she wanted to fight, but her defense was heaven-defying. She did not care about defense at all. For someone like her, who was in close combat, the more people there were, the more powerful her battle prowess would be. LV Shuangchuan was the most insidious. He's just like a loach in the mud, fighting everywhere, unable to catch him at all, and he can accurately hit your weakness. Boom, boom, boom. The people on the stage were continuously sent flying, and all of them were heavily injured. The Xianyang sect disciples, who had the strongest clamor, all shouted out loudly on the stage, as if they were pigs being butchered. Ba Wanghua did not even bother to throw them out of the stage, as he continued to crush them ruthlessly on the stage. 3 minutes. The 10 disciples of the and Yen Nantian were kneeling on the stage like dead dogs. He trembled all over. The Ba Wanghua grabbed onto the clothes of one of the Xianyang sect disciples and floated up. His eyes stared straight at Nielin, and he said, "Who do you think you are? You don't even have the qualifications to be liked by Long Fei." Bam! He slammed down on the stage. He then raised a disciple up to the air and stared at Nielin. "If Long Fei had not saved you a few times, would you still be alive today? One must know how to repay favors." Bam! He smashed the stage again. Ba Wanghua brought up another disciple of his Xianyang sect and said, "You shameless woman, don't run when we fight alone. I will fight you alone. You think you're worthy of humiliating my man?" Bam! Every single time was like a slap on Nielin's face, and it was extremely painful. The anger in Nielin's heart surged, and his murderous intent intensified. Chapter 1847. The Beginning of Personal Warfare. Chapter 1847. The beginning of personal warfare. Another disciple of the Xianyang sect threw himself down the stage fiercely, as if he had gone crazy. Long Fei was her man. She wouldn't allow anyone to humiliate him. So what if it was the 10 disciples as Nielin? So what if her beauty surpassed her? Humiliating Long Fei was not okay. One by one, the disciples of Xianyang sect were scared off the stage. The 45 disciples had all been beaten up by the 3 people. If they did not see it with their own eyes, they would not believe it at all. What happened in one night? Even Long Fei couldn't imagine it. The strength of the 3 could be said to have undergone an earth-shattering change. Everyone around the stands had a stupefied expression on their faces. Crippled team. I think the other 9 major sects are the crippled teams. After getting beaten up by the 3 of them, who would believe it if they didn't see it with their own eyes? The Devil Temple, supreme inheritance. The legends are true. They only stayed one night, and they already made such earth-shattering changes. It can be seen that there are too many powerful things in the Devil Temple. If I can get in, the 3 of them were very powerful. However, the Devil Temple that the disciples of the 10 sects cared even more about was precisely because the 3 of them had entered the Devil Temple before. That was why they became so powerful. Nielin's face was ashen, and her gaze landed on Yen Nantian. She looked at Yen Nantian's similarly burning gaze and started to worry in her heart. She didn't trust anyone, including Yen Nantian. Yen Nantian was just a chess piece for her as she entered the Devil Temple. After she enters the Devil Temple to obtain the supreme inheritance, she would become the 2nd flying goddess. She was about to leave the incomparably ugly Devil Island. She wanted to enter the ancient holy battlefield to obtain something even more powerful and a more noble identity. Deity. A few minutes later, only Ba Wanghua and the other 2 remained on the stage. Presided elders walked forward and said, "God Rare Sect wins." "Congratulations, God Rare Sect. Rest for half an hour. Then we will engage in individual battles. As long as the disciples' report for the competition are available, all sects will be able to prepare for it." We won. Ha ha ha. LV Shuangchuan excitedly jumped up and said, "I never thought that I would be able to stand on this stage and win. Ha ha ha." Wang Tai also smiled, simply. Ba Wanghua was still sulking. Her target was Nielin. Walking back to the God Rare sect, Long Fei said, "Your performance is not bad." The Ba Wanghua said straightforwardly, "If you want me to go out for personal matches, I want to fight Nielin one-on-one." He was clear in his heart that the current strength of the Ba Wanghua was not Nielin's match. He said with a smile, "In the team competition, you have consumed most of your physical strength, so in the next match, None of you should come up. I alone will be enough. He did not want Bawang Hua to be harmed in the slightest. Last night, when he was heavily injured by Hell Reaper, Long Fei was extremely vexed. Bawang Hua immediately said, I'm not tired at all. Long Fei, give me a chance. I definitely want to make Nia Lin look good. I don't care about others, but since she humiliated you, stepping on your honor, I don't like it. She had once said that the more women liked Long Fei, the happier she would be. She had misjudged Nia Lin and regretted letting go of her heart. Wang Tai faintly said, I'll go up as well. Since everyone is going on stage, how can I be left out? LV Shuangchuan also said with a chuckle. The three of them actually wanted to help Long Fei. Team battles were just a small warm-up. All sects would place their treasures above their own personal battles. It would definitely be the same for individual battles. If Long Fei were to go alone, he would have to face the encirclement and annihilation of the 9 major sects. They wanted to shoulder some of the burden for Long Fei. Long Fei understood in his heart, and it was precisely because of this that he didn't let them go on stage. He said, I'm currently the leader and also your boss. This kind of battle, I alone am enough. Long Fei didn't know what the three of them from Bawang Hua experienced in one night, but neither did they know how much Long Fei experienced in one night. He said that he would slowly play Yen Nantian to death, and that he would definitely do it. He wanted to let Yen Nantian, Nia Lin, descend into endless despair. Bawang Hua stomped his feet in anger and turned his gaze. Long Fei walked forward, his fingertips grabbing onto Bawang Hua's lower jaw, and directly kissed. Walala! The surroundings went into an uproar. Quick look! Wow, a public kiss! Wow, how romantic! This, if you can't get Nia Lin, then just hang out with your own senior sister. Isn't this too funny? Ha ha ha! Some people mocked him, while others envied him. However, live not for others, but for yourself. Towards the voice outside, Long Fei acted as if he did not hear it, and gave it a deep kiss. Looking at Bawang Hua's blushing face, he said gently, Be good, be good. One kiss. Bawang Hua's bones had become weak. His body turned soft. He turned from a strong man to a soft girl in an instant, revealing the happiness of a young woman. He nodded his head lightly and said, Yes, I'll listen to you. Nia Lin looked at them and revealed a cold smile. At this moment, a disciple walked over to her side and whispered, Senior sister, everything is ready. A light flashed in Nia Lin's eyes, and he asked, Are all of them here? That disciple said, Everyone is coming. No matter what the result is this time, you will enter the Devil Temple. Nia Lin laughed and said, All right, Long Fei, I was wary of you in the past, but now. Nia Lin looked at the Long Fei in the distance. She had made all the preparations even before she came to the fair. She knew that her strongest opponent was not Yen Nantian, but Long Fei, who had the ability to kill with a single punch. As long as she could release that punch, she would not be able to withstand it. Every time Long Fei released his blasting fist in the Ghost City, she saw it very clearly and had been researching it ever since. As long as he used this punch, she would not be afraid of him. Ha ha! Nia Lin laughed sinisterly. This world is so cruel. When you think you have everything, suddenly becoming devoid of anything, isn't that a wonderful feeling? Ha ha ha! Long Fei, let's wait and see. After half an hour of rest, each sect was ready to take action and make all their preparations. The presided elders walked out and said loudly, The last match of the 10 sects exchange will decide who will be this year's rookie king. And that's who will decide who will be able to enter the Devil Temple. There are no rules in this competition. You can use all of your strength, war beasts, spirit beasts, formations. As long as it's something that belongs to you, You can use it all. Show me your strongest strengths. Now, I announce the start of the individual battle. Chapter 1848. All of you are trash. Chapter 1848. All of you are trash. A personal battle wasn't a random selection of opponents, but in the form of a competition. Whoever wins will receive more points. Other than that, whoever stood at the end would receive extra points. In the end, they used their points to determine who the new Kingflower would go to. Currently, Yen Nantian had the highest score, an existence that was basically unshakable. As long as he did not lose too many matches in his individual battle, there was no doubt that he would be the new king. Other than them, there was also Nialin. Long Fei had only participated in 3 matches, and with 1 forfeit, his overall ranking was at 7th place. Basic base position. The host said slightly, "Who will be the first arena master?" None of the disciples of the 10 sects were the first to come out. The first one would only be cannon fodder, and with each round of bombardment, it was impossible to resist a few rounds. Yen Nantian looked at Long Fei and asked, "Long Fei, can your God Rare sect send more people?" Last year, he was at the bottom. This year should be about the same, right? Is there no one else in the God Rare sect? Nialin also smiled slightly and said, "Senior brother of the Southern Sky region, don't say that. Even if God Rare sect is a crippled sect, don't say it out loud." That's true. The crippled sects are all handicapped people. It doesn't matter whether they come out or not. They're still at the bottom. Yen Nantian laughed coldly. "Since you are a crippled sect, you can either give up or go on stage to die. Since all of you are just playing around and have gone through the motions, from today onwards, your God Rare sect will no longer have the position of God Rare sect." Yen Nantian said loudly. Quite a few people around the stands started to mock him. But Wang Hua had a bad temper and said, "Let me go." Wang Tai also said, "I'll go." Even if they were dissatisfied with the current God Rare sect, but he was still their sect, so they could be considered to be half family. How could they allow others to humiliate them? Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "Are you trying to goad me?" "Ha ha ha. I can't accept such provocation. You want me to become the arena master? All right, since that's the case, then you won't have any chance." The corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back. He took a step forward. Shua. The distance from his position to the arena was 100 meters, yet he had already arrived in an instant and landed in the arena. It was as fast as lightning. Yen Nantian slightly tightened his gaze and thought in his heart, what a fast speed. His cultivation. Yen Nantian's cultivation was only at the first stage of the Purple Star realm. He was the disciple with the highest cultivation in the exchange, but now he could not see what realm Long Fei was in. In one night's time, even if you train like a fly, you won't be able to improve much. Yen Nantian coldly snorted. Training talent was very important. However, time was also very important. No one could fly away with just a single thought. How much of a difference could a single night bring? At most, he would only be able to improve a little. Then again, the individual combat wasn't only a matter of competing in terms of individual strength. What was important was the strength of the war beasts and the spirit beasts. Long Fei, a disciple of the God Rare sect in his name, and a trash whose talent had been crippled, what kind of war beast could he have? What kind of spirit beast could he have? The God Rare sect would never give him these resources. So, after analyzing it, Long Fei wanted to win. It was just a fantasy story. Long Fei landed and said faintly, "Let the challenge begin. My palm is already unable to endure the thirst." How arrogant! "Brat, watch how I'll take care of you." As soon as he finished, a disciple of 7 Star sect who was dressed in a purple robe, was wielding a big blade. Before he finished speaking, his figure had already landed on the stage, and in that moment, he slashed down with his blade. At the same time, a roar sounded in the air, and a savage war-beast pounced like a hungry tiger pouncing on its prey. Crash! Oh no, Long Fei is going to die. A purple-robed disciple of the Seven-Star sect with a cultivation at the middle stage of the Red Star realm. This Long Fei was only at the Blue Star realm yesterday. He will definitely be killed this time. This guy is not simple. His beast is not simple either. Long Fei did not lose. He died. Seems like Seven-Star sect is going to win the first round. The Mountain Splitter Saber was vicious and ruthless. He directly rushed in front and sealed all of Long Fei's routes of entry. The beast on the other side, which was already prepared, pounced at Long Fei, not giving him any chance to react at all. He wanted to kill Long Fei with a single move. Long Fei stood in his original position without moving, as if he had not reacted. The disciples of the Seven-Star sect all laughed complacently. Ha ha! Long Fei, see if you still dare to be arrogant. Go and die. Boom! Roar! Blade Chi rumbled, and the warbeast's roars came crashing down at the same time. However, with the slash of the great sword, Long Fei's body moved slightly to the side. The blade edge struck down 0.5 centimeter away from his body. The Seven-Star sect disciple's blade cut through the air, and his body landed right in front of Long Fei. Die! Long Fei spat out a single word coldly, raised his right hand, and ruthlessly slapped him across the face. Pa! It was incomparably loud. His head immediately started spinning rapidly around his neck. His neck was twisted into the shape of a fried dough twist. Fresh blood crazily spurted out from his mouth. Sweeping his palm out, Long Fei's gaze turned. His eyes flashed with a sharp light, and he bellowed, "Kneel!" Buzz. His aura was like that of a god. Long Fei's eyes were as vicious as a beast's. The beast quickly curled up into a ball like a mouse seeing a cat, and Long Fei lifted his right leg to cover it. Boom! He heavily pressed down on the warbeast's head. The warbeast's head crashed into the arena, and its entire head cracked open. Blood sprayed all over the ground. 2 notifications sounded in his mind. Ding! Ding! Did not even bother to take a second look when a few trash items were dropped. His gaze swept across them before he smiled and said, "Next!" The entire audience was in an uproar. 1 hit, 1 kill. Too strong. What a fast speed. I didn't even see it clearly. How did he do it? So sharp. His cultivation. He didn't seem to be in the Blue Star realm. Who knew what realm he was in now? Could it be that he has been hiding himself all along? Discussions broke out. Long Fei shouted again, "Next, hurry up." "I'll do it." Another disciple flew out, his sword shooting towards Long Fei. However, without waiting for him to fall, Long Fei slapped his face again in midair, and with a pa sound, that disciple ruthlessly smashed himself onto the ground, his entire body turning into a puddle of flesh. Instant kill. Long Fei landed back on the stage and said, "Next." "Rob." His English is already flying high. Long Fei laughed. "Next." "Quick, quick, quick. This is too arrogant. Kid, take this palm of mine." A disciple rushed down. Before Long Fei could react, 2 beasts on his left and right rushed out at the same time. Boom, boom, boom. With 3 muffled sounds, 3 corpses flew out. Long Fei clapped his hands and laughed coldly, trash that can't even withstand a single blow. The people from the 9 major sects stood up immediately and shouted, "Long Fei, don't be too arrogant." Long Fei said, arrogantly, "I wanted to say, everyone here is trash." Chapter 1849, Foolish. Chapter 1849, Foolish. everyone here is trash. Long Fei was extremely arrogant, instantly angering the masses. The disciples of 9 major sects were filled with righteous indignation and fury. Long Fei grinned coldly and said, "You don't accept it? If you refuse to accept this, then all of you can come at me together." As soon as he finished, the entire audience suddenly quietened down, and everyone looked at Long Fei. Isn't this too arrogant? To challenge the entire 9 major sects alone? Was his brain filled with water? Fever? But Wang Hua's gaze tensed up. What is he trying to do? Wang Tai shook his head and said, "I don't know." LV Shuangchuan laughed. "What are you doing?" "That is, you trampled the 9 major sects to death by yourself. You are that arrogant. Brother Fei is too mighty." Ha! The eyes of the 2 clan elders of the God Rare sect shook, and they said, "Is he crazy? This is the 9 major sects, after all." 9 major sects had hundreds of disciples. The fact that he would have to exhaust himself to death in a battle of attrition while challenging the 9 major sects was something that had never happened before in the history of the Devil Island. How crazy was Long Fei? "Aren't you being too arrogant?" Nia Lin laughed coldly and said in a low voice, "I always thought you were very smart. I didn't expect you to also be a crazy braggart. It seems like your body is not crippled, but your brain is." "That's right, if he isn't brain damaged. Why would he make a move on Hell Reaper?" And then Nia Lin said, "Since he said it like that, then if he doesn't help us, then we are too stingy." Yan Nanshan's finger gently moved. "Attack together. Brat, your end is here. You ignorant fool. You dare to challenge the 9 major sects. You're courting death. Kill him." Suddenly, dozens of disciples flew down like streams of light. They summoned their war beasts at the same time, and everyone in and out of the arena was filled with people. There was no way out. However, Yan Nantian and Nia Lin did not come out. They were waiting. Furthermore, they were not anxious at all. Yan Nantian still had 100% confidence in being able to deal with a single Long Fei. The stronger Long Fei displayed, the stronger he would be when he would die. Nia Lin had another plan in mind. She put it all in a play. She believed she would be the final winner. On the stage, Long Fei's eyes were all around. "Just you trash. Is there no one else in 9 major sects? I just said that everyone here is trash. Not only the participating disciples, but the elders of your 9 major sects are also trash." Cluck, cluck, cluck. Not only to challenge the participating disciples, but also to stomp over 9 major sects. All the elders of the 9 major sects had ugly expressions on their faces. Rumble. With that said, all of the disciples rushed towards Long Fei. Long Fei's brows twitched. He locked onto one of the disciples with the lowest cultivation and suddenly made his move. Boom! A punch to the head. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing. Ding! Power of transcendence superimposed layer upon layer. Then, Long Fei killed the second person and added the power of transcendence to the second layer. 3rd floor, 4th floor, the 5th floor, 6th, 7th. He had killed 7 people in a row. The system rang out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the power of transcendence. For 1 minute, the power of the super god exploded inside Long Fei's body. Combined with the power of the 6th stage of the purple star, the chi on Long Fei's body started to ignite, and he suddenly took a step forward. Rumble, golden light radiated in all directions. The nearby people's internal organs were instantly shaken into a puddle of meat paste. Walala! 4 or 5 people instantly fell to the ground, dead. Everyone's face changed. They could not understand what power Long Fei was releasing, and continued to rush up, causing the entire stage to be filled with people. How boring! Not interesting at all. Long Fei's face was expressionless as he stepped on the ground. His body immediately flew into the air, and he said coldly, "All of you die." His body fell down. As the power from his body roared and moved, the flames of qi beneath Long Fei's feet seemed like it was going to burn in half a month's time. His body was like a huge mountain with tons and tons of power exploding outwards. Rumble! 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 The sound of thunder echoed in all directions, and his eardrums were about to burst. The entire Devil Hills was trembling, and the stage even cracked. The surrounding 9 major sects disciples were all sent flying one by one. Boom! 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 Their corpses flew around like rubble. The entire battlefield was crushed by Long Fei. Oxhead pulled the wind with lightning, killing 100 people in one move, causing his experience points to soar. Long Fei laughed. "I'm not wrong. All of you are all trash. Is there anyone else who is unconvinced?" As soon as he finished, the entire audience was shocked, especially those who had spent money to watch the show. Their faces were full of shock. Holy sh*T. The money I spent this year is worth it. This kid is really going to ascend to the heavens. No one can stop me. Ha ha ha. Wow, 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 wow. Long Fei, you are awesome. Too awesome. With just one move, he had basically killed all of the 9 major sexes' participating disciples. Less than 10 people. Yan Nanshan's face became ugly. Nia Lin's expression was the same. He thought that Long Fei would definitely use the blasting fist in the face of so many people attacking him, but the cultivation level that Long Fei had displayed completely surpassed her. At this moment, a tinge of regret appeared in Nia Lin's heart. If he had agreed to Long Fei's request to capture the Hell Reaper with him, then this would not have been the case. Furthermore, with her charm, she would definitely be able to make Long Fei concede obediently and give the position of the Rookie King to her. However, his gaze turned sinister as he said, "Long Fei, just now you said that you want to challenge the 9 major sects, including the elders?" Long Fei said, "Nia Lin, you want your Xianyang sect's elders to die, right? Then let them come. I'll say it again. If anyone from the 9 major sects wants to challenge me, come at me." But Long Fei laughed slyly, looked at the presided elders who was still in a daze, and said, "Elder, my current points should be more than enough to become a new king, right?" Huh. The host was stunned and could not react in time. The entire audience was in an uproar. Yan Nanshan's face changed even more. Long Fei had defeated over 100 disciples in a row, so his current points were already far, far off from Yan Nanshan's by more than 10 streets. The presided elders said slightly, "According to the rules of the exchange hall, your current points can indeed already become this year's Rookie King." Hearing presided elders' words, Yan Nantian panicked. Nia Lin's face also turned anxious. If that was the case, then Lousy will not fight anymore. I'll go to Devil Temple to play. Long Fei grinned. He was very sinister. "I won't die playing with you all." Yan Nantian and Nia Lin were completely stunned. Chapter 1850, Long Fei, Die Together. Chapter 1850, Long Fei, Die Together. He never thought that Long Fei would actually play such a trick. Too dirty, too treacherous. For a moment, the entire audience was staring at Long Fei with their mouths agape. Damn, isn't this too shameless? Long Fei, can you be like a man? What's shameless? Is this what it means to be clear-minded? The brain is a good thing. Do you have it? Smart, too smart, the head of 10 disciples. Yan Nantian was killed in an instant before he could even fight. Ha ha ha. This move is too smart. Ha ha ha. Exciting, too exciting. There was a great deal of discussion and praise. Long Fei would not care about what others say. He smiled at Nie Lin and Yen Nanshan's stupefied expressions and muttered, "I won't play you guys to death." The presided elders felt a little awkward. He looked at Nie Lin, who was in Xianyang's sect, and had no choice but to step onto the stage. According to the rules of the exchange and the current score situation, God rare sect, Long Fei's points far exceed that of all the disciples. He is this year's rookie king. Before he could finish, Yen Nantian suddenly stood up and shouted loudly, "Wait!" Presided elders stopped. Yen Nantian took a step forward and instantly landed in front of Long Fei. He said with cold contempt, "Long Fei, is this all you have? You want to do this to me?" "Yeah." Long Fei laughed and said, "I only have this little trick. Do you want to bite me?" "When it's time to be a scoundrel, you have to be a scoundrel." Yen Nanshan's eyes darkened and said, "You—" Long Fei laughed. "What's wrong with me? Very handsome, right?" Yen Nantian said, "Long Fei, do you dare to accept my challenge? I will crush you to the ground in 10 moves. You want a duel?" Long Fei looked at Yen Nantian. Yen Nantian said, "Are you afraid?" Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "I accept, but don't be anxious. I'll go into the Devil Temple to take a look. Just wait here for a bit." Finished. Long Fei was about to walk down the stage. As long as Long Fei entered the Devil Temple, he would be this year's rookie king. Nie Lin suddenly stood up and shouted anxiously, "No, we can't let him in." Devil Temple can only enter one person. If Long Fei entered, she would lose this chance. Moreover, every disciple could only participate in one exchange. Since he had come this year, he would no longer have the qualifications to participate next year. This was also the only chance for Nie Lin. Nie Lin's face was ice cold, and he said, "Yen Nantian, what are you still standing there for? Stop him." A cold light flashed in Yen Nanshan's eyes, and he said with cold contempt, "Long Fei, if you can't get through me, you'll definitely not be able to enter the Devil Temple." The long sword moved. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Sword cries came out. The surrounding area started to crush Long Fei. Yen Nantian used all of his strength right from the start. He could not let Long Fei enter Devil Temple. Long Fei stood in place without moving and laughed lightly. "Yen Nantian, I used to think that you were at least a human being, but never would I have thought that you would actually be a dog that listens to human words, to actually listen to a woman. For a woman, you really can put in a lot of effort." The space between Yen Nanshan's eyebrows tightened. A cold light also flashed through Nie Lin's eyes. All the elders of the 9 major sects were startled and looked towards Yen Nantian in unison. Yen Nanshan's sword techniques became even sharper, and he bellowed, "Long Fei, I do not know what you are talking about, die." Buzz. A sword stroke came out, piercing towards the center of Long Fei's brows. The sword chi in all directions pierced towards like sharp swords. "Brother Fei, be careful! Be careful!" Ah! Many people cried out in alarm. When Yen Nantian used his full strength, his sword intent soared to the sky, but before Long Fei could even react, he definitely could not block it. "I'm going to die. Yen Nantian is the head of the 10 disciples, who among the younger generation can be his match. Sigh. It's a pity. I really like Long Fei. I'm going to die soon." He didn't even have time to react. "This sword will take his life." Long Fei didn't react at all, as if he was scared silly. Nie Lin's mouth revealed a proud sneer, and thought to himself, "Long Fei, if you want to live, then you have to use that move, right? When you finish using that move, what will you have left?" Humph! Nia Lin had been waiting for Long Fei to use the blasting fist, but she had no idea that Long Fei's blasting fist was still in its cooldown and could not be released at all. Everyone looked at Long Fei. Yan Nanshan's sword beam flashed with a golden light, and with 10,000 attacks, he smashed down with all his might. Die? His strength was incomparably thick. This strike could easily kill Powerhouse of the same level, and could even kill Powerhouse of the same level, but Long Fei's current level is Purple Star 6th Order. The aura on his body moved slightly, and his two fingers pinched together. Boom! The powerful aura of Purple Star Realm erupted from his body, forming a violent impact, directly smashing the sword chi that was coming from all directions into pieces. The ripple of the void was like a wave, quickly rolling and shaking outwards. At the same time, Long Fei's fingers lightly pinched together and easily caught Yan Nanshan's long sword, and the power at the tip of his fingers exploded. Boom! Buzz! The long sword broke, and the sword tip landed in Long Fei's hands. Long Fei rushed forward, and instantly landed by Yan Nanshan's side, the sword tip resting on his neck. Everything was completed in an instant like flowing water. It was dazzling to the eye, leaving it unable to take in what was happening. Yan Nantian was shocked. His eyes were filled with shock. He lowered his head and looked at the broken sword on his neck, his body trembling uncontrollably as he said, "Long Fei, there are some things we can discuss." Everyone present was shocked, especially Nia Lin. What is Long Fei's cultivation level? Wasn't it Blue Star Realm yesterday? No, that's not right. Based on the aura just now, his cultivation must be at least Purple Star Realm and above Yan Nantian. Otherwise, he would not have been able to suppress Yan Nantian in an instant. Purple Star Realm? Heavens, had he been hiding? Otherwise, who would be able to break through dozens of levels in one night? Damn, I'm going crazy. Not everyone could jump ranks and fight back. The realms were extremely important for those at the first realm to jump ranks, and kill those in the first stage of the realm was simply too difficult. Not everyone was as abnormal as Long Fei. Long Fei was only at the 6th stage of the Purple Star Realm and could easily crush him. In the past, I would always kill people above me level, but I've never tried to crush a person below my level. Today, I can finally give it a try. Long Fei whispered into Yan Nanshan's ear. Tell me, how did you kill the 8 great disciples? Yan Nanshan's gaze tightened and couldn't help but look at Nia Lin. Nia Lin's face turned green. At this moment, a cold light flashed in Yan Nanshan's eyes as he said, Long Fei, let's die together. Chapter 1851, Flaming Rebirth, Second Death. Chapter 1851, Flaming Rebirth, Second Death. Let's die together. Seeing Nia Lin's disappointed expression, Yan Nantian immediately threw caution to the wind. He truly liked Nia Lin. You can give anything you like for it. Everything he had done was for Nia Lin, so even if it meant the price of his life, he had to clear the way for Nia Lin. As soon as Yan Nantian finished his sentence, the space between Long Fei's brows tightened, and he immediately felt an extremely dangerous aura surge towards him. Ripples flashed in the air. A flaming warbeast appeared from thin air. Raging flames burned crazily on the warbeast's body, but this was not a dangerous force for him, but rather it was the heart on its body that could explode. Explosive warbeast. Peak 9th grade warbeast. Is this Yan Nanshan's beast? Not good. Long Fei won't be able to escape. Yan Nantian can't escape either. I didn't think that he would actually use his own life to block Long Fei. He really doesn't want to live. Explosive warbeast. It was an extremely ancient and powerful warbeast. The strength of this type of beast was because they had hearts that could explode. This power was something that the Purple Star realm could not withstand. Yen Nantian had never summoned his own beast before. No one knew that he had this kind of super strong, self-destructing beast. The space between Long Fei's eyebrows tightened. Yen Nantian looked at Long Fei and laughed complacently. Long Fei, I can give up my life for. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. He laughed wildly. Nie Lin's face revealed a smile. She never thought that Yen Nantian would have such an explosive beast. Furthermore, she was very clear what kind of power this explosive beast had. Long Fei won't be able to escape. Even if he killed Yen Nantian now, he himself would also die. Once the explosive war beast locked onto a target, it would be an existence that would not rest until it was dead. Long Fei looked at Yen Nantian and said, I didn't expect you to be such an infatuated seed, but you love the wrong person, and just as Long Fei was about to speak, Yen Nantian suddenly moved and directly hugged Long Fei's waist and said, I have never regretted it. Long Fei, let's die together. Yen Nantian did his best to tightly bind Long Fei because he would not allow Long Fei to escape. But he did not expect that Long Fei did not flee and did not move from the start. We can't escape. It's going to explode to death. Sai, what a pity. This Yen Nantian is too reckless. Ba Wanghua anxiously ran forward. Ignoring everything else, he ran up. Wang Tai's heavy sword landed on the ground, as he also rushed forward like lightning. However, they were too far away. Even if they had arrived at the first possible moment, they wouldn't have been able to stop the explosive war beast. At this moment, even the old monk's eyebrows slightly tightened. They did not make a move. If they were to make a move, then Long Fei would not be the king they were waiting for. Their hearts were also filled with doubt. Is Long Fei that king? The smile on Nie Lin's face became wider, and he laughed complacently. Long Fei die. No one can stop me. No one. At this time, no one could save Long Fei, even if it was the Holy Spirit Defense themselves. Blocking 99% of the attack wasn't enough to ensure Long Fei's death. This was what the erupting beast was afraid of. However, Long Fei actually laughed. Seeing the beast that was pouncing towards him, Long Fei put Yen Nantian behind him, used his body to block the beast, and said, Don't worry, I won't die. At the same time, I won't let you die either. Because I haven't had enough fun. Rumble! 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 The moment the erupting beast pounced down, it released a violent explosion that shook the sky and caused the entire Devil Hills to tremble, sparks flying in all directions. A huge crater was formed in the center of the arena. The flames were still burning. Dead. Long Fei. Long Fei. Ba Wanghua was about to jump into the flames, but he was stopped by Wang Tai. Ba Wanghua's tears fell like rain as she continuously shouted, Long Fei, Long Fei. Her heart was torn to shreds, and her eyes were filled with despair. Her heart felt as if it had died in an instant. She felt extremely uncomfortable. Nie Lin stood up and walked to the front and laughed loudly. Ha ha ha. He was extremely pleased with himself. In the end, Long Fei did not even release the blasting fist, so it was no longer important anymore. Long Fei was dead. Her greatest obstacle had been completely swept clean. If the new king died this year, she would take her place and enter the Devil Temple. She would become the second flying goddess in 1,000 years. Nie Lin laughed. He was laughing gleefully. In her eyes, there was not a single trace of regret for Yen Nantian for her sacrifice. In fact, there was not even a single thought of Yen Nantian. dead. The head of the 10 disciples and the dark horse died together this year. What a pity! It's been so many years since a genius like him appeared in Devil Island. What a pity! With Yen Nantian dead, and with Long Fei dead, this year's Rookie King will belong to Nia Lin. She didn't even have to fight before she easily obtained the position of Rookie King. She's the biggest winner of the year. At this moment, an elder of the Xianyang sect said gently, "Host Long Fei is dead now. According to the rules of the exchange hall, this year's Rookie King should be choosing a new disciple, right? Right now, your disciples' points are clear at a glance. The Nia Lin of our Xianyang sect is a fully deserving new king." Presided elders looked at the flames that were still burning and let out a light breath. According to the rules of the exchange hall, the one with the highest points is the Rookie King. So this year's Rookie King is Xianyang sect's Nia Lin. As soon as he finished, Ba Wanghua immediately shouted out, "I can't accept this." Ba Wanghua's fist shook. He stared straight at Nia Lin once again and said, "I do not accept it." Next, voices came from all around the stands. "I can't accept it either. We can't accept this either." Nia Lin did not do anything. What right did he have to be the new king? He just couldn't accept it. Ba Wanghua was more unwilling, so she refused to accept it. Nia Lin's gaze tensed up and turned towards an old man, and in that moment, crack, 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 like lightning, the 2 elders and the 4 disciples at God Rare Sect were killed by the 3 black-robed experts in an instant. Everything happened too quickly. Laughed coldly. Is there anyone else who is unconvinced? Everything had already been arranged. Ba Wanghua turned around to look, and his anger surged. He stared at Nia Lin and said, "What a sinister method." Nia Lin looked at Ba Wanghua coldly and said, "Evil scheme? Humph. This world is the world of the powerhouse. Who would care about the death of a weak person? I'll ask now, is there anyone else who is unconvinced?" His aura was ferocious, and his body emitted the aura of a queen. At this moment, the flames in the deep pit flickered, and one figure flew out as Yen Nanshan's body directly landed beside Nia Lin. At the same time, a voice resounded from the flames. "I refuse to accept this." Chapter 1852, Heartless and New Students. Chapter 1852, Heartless and New Students. I refuse to accept this. A person walked out of the flickering flame. White hair like snow. His silver robe fluttered in the wind. He walked out of the pit step by step, his body wreathed in flames. Everyone focused their gazes on him. Ba Wanghua was overjoyed. He covered his mouth with one hand, as though he was afraid that he would cry, and said with tears of joy, "Dragon, dragon, Long Fei." Wang Tai's eyes darkened, and he subconsciously clenched his fists tightly. "Flame has been reborn, Brother Fei." LV Shuangquan's eyes were filled with worship. "Too awesome, so mighty and domineering, Brother Fei." "It's him. It's Long Fei. He's not dead yet. He actually didn't die. Good heavens, how is that possible? The explosive power of the explosive war beast is extremely strong. How can he not die? Ha ha ha. Long Fei is mighty. This is going to be fun." For a time, the entire exchange hall was in an uproar. Long Fei walked out step by step. He was completely unharmed, not even a single strand of hair. Of course, just as he walked into the flames, his god's immortal bead once again released a strong power. This is Long Fei's second death. Moreover, the black stripes on his heart were becoming denser and denser. This was the transformation brought about by his second death, causing his heart's strength to increase once again. Within the flames, strands of power flashed out from the dragon-shaped mark on his right arm, wrapping around his entire body. It was incomparably cool. After walking out from the flames, Bawang Hua could no longer control himself and directly threw himself into Long Fei's embrace. Like a little girl, she lightly punched Long Fei on the chest. "You scared me to death. You scared me to death." "Woo woo." She started to sob softly. Long Fei lightly patted Bawang Hua's back and gently said, "I won't let you worry next time." Bawang Hua said, "Swear." Long Fei said, "I swear to the heavens." Bawang Hua snickered and said, "That's more like it." And then Bawang Hua looked at the nearby Nie Lin with a purplish-blue face and said, "I don't like her, so you shouldn't like her either, okay?" Long Fei laughed. "I have never liked her. Now, at this moment, I only like you." Bawang Hua's smile became even more brilliant. Incomparable happiness. The surrounding crowd attracted the admiration of countless young girls. Even the woman in her 50s was filled with envy and jealousy. Nie Lin's face became incomparably ugly. Yen Nantian crawled up from the ground with difficulty and said, "Junior sister, I'm sorry. I never thought that he would actually be able to withstand the explosive power of the explosive beast. Pa." Suddenly, Nie Lin slapped his face loudly. He stared at Yen Nantian and said, "Trash. Why didn't you die?" The entire audience was stunned. Yen Nantian was already severely injured, but this slap had directly slapped him down to the ground. The 5 finger marks on his face were clearly visible, and he was in extreme pain. There was no place as painful as his heart. He looked at Nie Lin and said, "Junior sister, you—" Nie Lin didn't even spare a glance at Yen Nantian and said coldly, "Before I get angry, you'd better disappear from my sight and never appear again." Yen Nantian's heart sank again. There was nothing worse than a heartache. Looking at Nie Lin, who was like a stranger, Yen Nantian felt incomparable despair. Everything he had done for her, he thought he could exchange back for Nie Lin's sincere treatment. However, now, Yen Nantian crawled up from the ground with much difficulty and said, "Junior sister, can you not treat me like this? As long as you give me 3 years' time, I will take back everything I have. I will trample Long Fei beneath my feet." Not waiting for him to finish, Nie Lin turned and slapped him yet again as he said coldly, "Yen Nantian, who do you think you are? Scram. This is your last chance to live." Nie Lin's eyes were cold and continued, "You think I will marry you? Do you think I'd like you? You are just a pawn of mine, a pawn that will clear the way for me. You are now just a piece of trash, a pawn that has no value at all. Do you understand?" Ha ha ha. After saying that, Nie Lin laughed coldly. She was no longer afraid of anyone. Yen Nantian's heart was broken. He staggered as if he couldn't even stand steadily. Long Fei grinned and laughed softly, saying, "Yen Nantian, this taste, is it good? If I let you die just now, you wouldn't have been able to experience this feeling." He didn't care if Yen Nantian was heartbroken or dead. What he wanted was this kind of scene. Even if it meant letting him have a taste of the pain he would never be able to cure. He hated himself. He hated Nie Lin. At the same time, he hated Long Fei even more, as he let out a hysterical roar and said, "Long Fei, even if I have to become a ghost, I still won't forgive you. He fiercely charged forward. He rushed out from Nie Lin's side. At that moment, Yen Nantian looked at Nie Lin. How he wished that Nie Lin could pull him back, because he was very clear that he was not Long Fei's match, and Nie Lin was also clear that he wanted to see if there was any trace of pain in Nie Lin's heart. But not at all. The moment their 4 eyes met, all Yen Nantian saw was heartlessness, coldness, and that sort of trash-like contempt. Yen Nantian laughed. Moreover, he didn't know why, but his heart suddenly stopped hurting. He didn't know if it was because he was numb or because he was in pain, but his speed towards Long Fei did not decrease at all. He used all his strength. He was prepared to die. There was no one left in this world, and nothing was worth his attention. To him, death was a type of release. Long Fei, come! Yen Nantian roared out. He used all his strength, but in the end he did not attack Long Fei. He knew that he was no match for him. He wanted to die too. Long Fei allowed him to see Nie Lin clearly and let him understand everything. To be able to die in Long Fei's hands was the best fate for him. However, the moment he landed, Long Fei grabbed him by the collar, fiercely dragged him, and smashed him onto the ground. It's just a woman. If you're a man, then you can stand up again. Follow my footsteps. I will bring you along to enter the Devil Temple. Long Fei did not kill Yen Nantian. His goal had already been achieved, and the current Yen Nantian was no longer the Yen Nantian from 1 minute ago. His 10 ratings super strong talent was something that was common in the entire Devil Island. How could Long Fei let such a super genius die just like that? Yen Nantian was stunned. He laid on the ground and looked at Long Fei. Long Fei stretched out his right hand and said, "If you're a man, then you better get back up. If you're not a man, then pretend I didn't say anything." Long Fei looked at Yen Nantian seriously. Yen Nantian looked at the hand that Long Fei extended out, hesitated for a few seconds, and then grabbed Long Fei's hand and stood up from the ground. As if Yen Nantian obtained a new life, no one wanted to die. In that moment, he saw clearly that everything was like an epiphany, and Long Fei gave him a new life. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "I'm done. Now we will enter the Devil Temple together." While they were talking, he did not look at Nie Lin at all. Nie Lin was so angry and flustered that he looked like a wild cat. He roared, "Kill them all!" Chapter 1853. All the New Kings. Chapter 1853. All the new kings so angry, so angry, so angry. Long Fei did not even bother with her. Long Fei saved those she did not want. Furthermore, he had to bring Yen Nantian to the Devil Temple, which made Nie Lin extremely unhappy. Thus, she could not wait either. The idea moved and sent out an order. "Kill them all." Boom. With that, dozens of black-robed experts descended from the plaza. Ba Wanghua immediately said, "Long Fei." It was they who killed the elders and disciples of God-Rare sect. Yen Nantian also looked at Nie Lin with a face full of shock and said, "So it turns out that everything had been planned beforehand." Nie Lin sneered and said, "Do you think I would rely on a useless trash like you? Yen Nantian, you think too highly of yourself. In my eyes, aren't you just a chess piece that clears the entire 10 disciples for me? But you can't even take care of one Long Fei. You truly disappoint me." Yen Nantian laughed bitterly and did not refute him. His heart was dead now, and he was no longer the same as he had been a minute ago. Even if Nie Lin taunted him again, he would not do anything if he said anything unpleasant. Quite a few elders from the various sects in 9 major sects shouted, "Nie Lin, what are you trying to do? Are you crazy? Who are these people?" Many black-clothed experts appeared at 9 major sects. This made the elders of the 9 major sects extremely unhappy. It's one thing for you to deal with Long Fei, but you want to deal with us? Nie Lin laughed coldly. "Those who obey me will die. Those who oppose me will die. I don't care which sect you are from. Whoever dares to go against me will end up dead." "This is too presumptuous." An elder heavily shouted, "A mere new disciple dares to be so rude. Elder Xianyang, if your disciple is unable to handle this matter, then I will be in charge of this matter." Without waiting for the elder of the Xianyang sect to speak, the elder immediately rushed towards Nielin. Nielin stood in place without moving, coldly laughed, and said, "You overestimate your capabilities, die." In midair, a thick wave of energy came crashing down. The elder was instantly blasted down. All the meridians in his body shattered. Black blood continuously flowed out from the corner of his mouth. He was a powerhouse of the Purple Star realm, and with a single move, he was killed. How strong was this black-clothed expert? The complexions of all the elders of 9 major sects changed as they swept their gaze over the crowd. Looking at the nearly 100 assassins in black, they were a little nervous in their hearts. Nielin laughed coldly. "I will say again, those who follow me will suffer. Those who go against me will die. If anyone goes against me..." Haha, you guys also saw the result? Longfei, you too. I know you have another fist technique that can instantly kill someone, but you can only kill one person. Today, you have nowhere to run, so you either have to kneel down and submit to me, or die here. Nielin coldly looked at Longfei. She was always paying attention to the distance between her and Longfei, and the blasting fist was the power she was most afraid of. Longfei grinned and said, "Kneel down and submit to you? These assassins in black. That's not right." To be precise, all of these black-clothed powerhouse S should be 9 major sects S, right? If my guess is not wrong, they should be the new king of all generations, right? Longfei swept his gaze across them and laughed coldly. In broad daylight, his face was covered by black clothes. Obviously, they just didn't want others to know who they were. Furthermore, they were listening to Nielin's orders, so there must be some sort of deal. The only condition that would move their hearts was to enter Devil Temple again. They had entered it before and knew what was hidden inside, so they wanted to enter it a second time. Man's greed is limitless. The Devil Temple was a kind of shrine to any warrior. After all, anyone who could soar into the sky wanted to be the second flying goddess to leave the Devil Island. That was why Longfei had made such a guess. As soon as he finished, the entire arena was shocked. Generations of new kings. They are all super powerhouse of the Devil Island. "Is it you, Lu-E? Are you in here? Speak up," a sect elder said in a low voice. At this moment, in the crowd, a man in black took off his veil. "It's really you," that elder shouted in a flustered and exasperated tone. "Come back here. You are a member of my 7-star sect, yet you are listening to a woman's orders." Lu-E did not move, not even a little bit. There was not a single ripple in his ice-cold eyes. When the 7-star sect's rookie king was discovered, the other sects felt as if they had exploded and immediately called out their previous generation of rookie kings. These masked experts all took off their veils one by one, revealing their original appearances. Just as Longfei had guessed, they were all the new king. He was completely stupefied. It really is them. How is this possible? Nielin has actually gathered so many new king cultivators who can even touch him. This is bad. I'm afraid we're all going to die here. If even the people from the 9 major sects could kill them, then these spectators would definitely not let them off. Immediately, the stands were in a state of panic. Some of them escaped, while others knelt down towards Nielin, indicating their allegiance. Not a single one. Nielin gave an order, smiled at Longfei, and said, "Longfei, I have no choice but to admit that you are very smart. Since you have already guessed it, then you should understand the strength that I currently possess." He. "You, him. All the people around you must die." While they were talking, Nielin pointed to the person beside Longfei. Longfei smiled and said, "Just to enter the Devil Temple?" Nielin said, That's right, for the sake of entering the Devil Temple. You and I do not know what is inside the Devil Temple. You do not understand the power that exists inside the Devil Temple that can change fate for me. You don't even know how much effort you have spent to enter my clan in order to enter the Devil Temple. Long Fei, you don't know about this. I want to become the second flying goddess. I won't be tied down by such a small devil island. My goal, it's the ancient holy battlefield. Nielin's chi started to heat up. She had shouldered this mission since she was young, and she had to lead her family out of Devil Island, leaving the forsaken god land. Long Fei looked at Nielin in shock and said, "What are you doing? If you follow me, you will achieve all of these goals." Ha ha ha. Follow you? A trash whose inherent skill has been crippled following you, and following you, a useless person who only knows how to instantly kill people. Nielin laughed contemptuously. Perhaps I have liked you at some point in time, but you are unable to give me the thing that I want, so you are destined to not become my home. Moreover, you're too smart, so I'm not 100% sure that I can control you. So, either you kneel to me, or you die here today. Nielin stared at Long Fei with full confidence, not putting him in his eyes at all. Chapter 1854. Despair, Nielin. Chapter 1854. Despair. Nielin, in her heart, she admitted that she had liked Long Fei at some point in time. And at some point in time, she even thought that Long Fei was the home for her entire life. She was a very realistic person. When Long Fei had proposed the idea of taking a risk to subdue the Hell Reaper, she had already known that she and Long Fei would never be able to do it. Long Fei could not be controlled by her either. Right now, everything was under his control. As long as he had these new King Powerhouse, she would not be afraid of anyone, and Long Fei would the same. Moreover, if Long Fei could be used by her, Long Fei's blasting fist would become one of her killing moves. Long Fei, a wise man, submits to circumstances. As long as you kneel to me, I will spare your life and guarantee that I will take you with me to Devil Temple. Nielin laughed coldly. Long Fei didn't have a choice. He had no choice if he wanted to live. Ba Wanghua looked at Long Fei, his eyes motionless. Nielin looked at Ba Wanghua and said, "Look at those small eyes. How infatuated are you? Long Fei, you are the only one who has a choice. The three of them. No, it should be 3 useless dogs and 1 useless dog. I don't need any trash." The useless dog said that it was talking about Yen Nantian. Yen Nantian laughed. Wang Tai was not happy. "Brother Fei, let's go all out." Ba Wanghua said heavily, "Fight." Ha ha ha. Nielin laughed out loud and said, "Fight with me? What qualifications do you have to fight me? Just with trash like you? Let's recognize the reality. Long Fei, is there a limit to my patience? Kneel or not?" Nielin shouted out majestically like a queen. Long Fei laughed. "Why do you always want others to kneel before you, so that you can display your superiority? Then I want to know who gave you this feeling of superiority." As Long Fei spoke, he slowly turned around to look at Devil Temple, who was not far away from him. As a person, I don't really like being passive. I usually like to take the initiative, just like how one would clap. I usually like to ride on a woman's back. Nielin's brows tightened and said, "So this is your choice?" Long Fei said, "Don't be anxious. I will let you know what my choice is. Last night, when I was about to be pushed off the cliff, I said it before, don't let me come back alive. Otherwise, I will slowly play you to death. Yen Nantian has already ended, and it hasn't started yet." Yen Nantian's eyes were unmoving. He was not angry because of what he said, but instead thanked Long Fei. It was Long Fei who allowed him to see through the reality, and this malicious woman, Nielin, Nie Lin laughed in disdain as he looked at Long Fei. Long Fei, you are overestimating yourself. Do you think your Purple Star realm is very powerful? You are really not an ordinary arrogant person. Long Fei took a few more steps in the direction of the Devil Temple and said, "That's right, I am very arrogant. You will soon see me being even more arrogant." As soon as he finished, when Long Fei removed the Sumi rings from his body, it moved slightly and then shouted loudly, "Collect them for me!" The Sumi rings flew into the air in front of Nie Lin. A bizarre energy enveloped the enormous Devil Temple, and also at this moment, the holy power value in Long Fei's body instantly dropped by 1,000,000 points. Long Fei was overwhelmed with shock in his heart. Damn, this Devil Temple doesn't look as big as those 2 mountains, but it would consume 1,000,000 points of divine power. This was something that Long Fei did not expect. However, fortunately, his current holy power value was at 100,000 points, so losing 1,000,000 points was not a problem. The holy power value of 100,000 points was more than enough for him at the moment. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The strange power was like a red light scanning. In that short period of time, boom! The Devil Temple suddenly disappeared. He was being sucked into the Sumi rings, and even the old monk that was guarding the temple was being sucked in. Actually, before this, Long Fei had already sent a sound transmission to them and obtained their tacit approval to do so. The old monk also agreed to allow them to be sucked into the Sumi rings. When they saw Long Fei being reborn from the flames, they were already 100% certain that Long Fei was that king. Gone. Gone. The Devil Temple is gone. He disappeared into thin air. Everyone present was stunned, and Nie Lin's expression changed even more. His entire person had gone bad, as if he had gone mad, and roared out, "Long Fei, what did you do?" Long Fei put away the ring, smiled slightly, and said, "I didn't do anything. I just kept Devil Temple. Do you know how arrogant I am now?" When Nie Lin had disappeared from the mountain last time, she felt her heart tighten. At that time, she thought that some kind of super powerhouse was cultivating some sort of mountain shifting technique, but she never could have imagined that it was just a ring. Ba Wanghua said excitedly, "This move is too cool." Wang Tai said simply, "Handsome." LV Shuangchuan replied, "How can you be called handsome? He's so handsome that he's practically falling to the ground like a pile of dregs. Brother Fei, you are really my super idol." Ha ha ha. Look at Nie Lin's ugly face. It's as though someone slapped him dozens of times. It's too satisfying. Ha ha. LV Shuangchuan said excitedly. It was truly a relief. Everything she had worked for suddenly turned into nothingness in front of her. This feeling was even worse than if he had killed her. Nie Lin raged. He had gone mad. Both eyes stared straight at Long Fei like a shrew on the streets, and said, "Long Fei, hand over Devil Temple to me, quickly." Long Fei grinned. "Didn't you like people to kneel? Right now, kneel down and beg me. I might even get the Devil Temple out." Nie Lin said in a deep voice, "You're courting death." Long Fei said, "You want to die?" Ha ha. Long Fei laughed. "Then come. I will let you experience something even more arrogant than the disappearance of Devil Temple. You have to play slowly." At first, Long Fei did not think of killing Nie Lin. However, now, Long Fei would never let her live because she had made him extremely unhappy. The most important thing was that she had threatened the people around Long Fei, and that was the bottom line in Long Fei's heart. Unhappy? For him. However, it was impossible to harm the people around him. Nie Lin was about to go crazy and said, "Fine, then I'll see what kind of strength you have left. Today, I will kill you. Everyone go kill Long Fei, and you will have the Devil Temple in your complete control. Nielin ordered. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. One figure after another landed and quickly surrounded Long Fei. The Ba Wanghua was a bit closer to Long Fei, so Wang Tai and LV Shuangquan directly stepped in front of him to block the attack. Yan Nantian picked up a dagger from the ground and walked over. Long Fei laughed. I'll let you all experience my ability to act even more arrogant. Hell Reaper, come out. Despair, Nielin. Chapter 1855, Variant Boss. Chapter 1855, Variant Boss. Boom, boom, boom. One after another, Hell Reaper flew out from Long Fei's Sumi rings and landed heavily beside him, forming a circle. 12 killers. He was covered in a jet black steel armor, holding a half-moon sickle in his hand, and his eyes were as cold as a dead man's. The eyes of the strongest assassin. Never see anything in his eyes. Moreover, compared to the Hell Reaper that appeared last night, the auras of the 12 killers were much different. By injecting Giant's power into them, they had completely doubled their power. The appearance of the 12 Hell Reaper made all the new King stop in their tracks, and their expressions changed greatly. They were incomparably familiar with the Hell Reaper. Everyone had seen it before, and they were more clear of the Hell Reaper's strength. Hell Reaper. Long Fei really succeeded. He really subdued all 12 Hell Reaper. Oh my God, how is this possible? Are you dreaming? How can we subdue Hell Reaper? Even the top spirit master cultivators would not be able to do it. Hell Reaper has super strong fighting strength. Look at Nielin's face. Despair. He was truly in despair. She did not despair when Yan Nantian lost to her. Devil Temple had disappeared, but she still did not despair. But now, with the appearance of the 12 Hell Reaper she fell into despair. This feeling was very uncomfortable. He was unwilling, but he could not find any chance. It was as if he could not see any hope in his life. Nielin's entire body trembled as he said in a heavy voice, You. Long Fei laughed. Am I very handsome? Nielin clenched her teeth. She did not want all of her efforts to be wasted, and all of her family's efforts to be wasted, just like that. Unwillingness. Nielin's voice was cold to the extreme. Her eyes were completely bloodshot. The killing intent in her eyes was extremely dense. Long Fei, I will never let you go. Kill them all. By the time she brought the new king to this place, she no longer had any way out. Now, Long Fei had everything of hers in his hands. At this time, he had no other choice but to fight to the death. Nielin took a step forward, and an enormous void door rushed out from the sky as a gigantic divine, level warbeast charged out. Standing on top of the warbeast's head, Nielin let out a buzzing sound from behind him. Holy artifact! Long Fei saw through it with a glance. There were not many holy artifacts in Devil Island. Even the 10 sects did not have many. Moreover, the moment Nielin summoned out her divine level beast, the light emitted from her body also instantly changed. Her originally colorless face instantly turned golden, while her name turned from white to red and black. The boss had mutated. Long Fei stared at Nielin and laughed. So you are the big hidden boss. It seems like you hid your strength well. Long Fei did not expect this. Nielin hid herself very well. I have to say that Nielin was good at hiding herself and made use of all the powers that could be used. Long Fei, today if you don't die, then I die. Nielin bellowed out, and the divine beast let out a roar. Nielin said, Kill. At the same time, Long Fei's mouth twitched and said, Seems like you still haven't given up all hope. Kill the Hell Reaper. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 12 Hell Reaper S split into 12 thin lines and directly exploded outwards. Long Fei's order was to kill. Therefore, none of them stayed behind to protect Long Fei. Brother Fei, is it too dangerous? LV Shuangchuan immediately said. Yan Nantian said, Long Fei, Nie Lin's divine level beasts are very powerful. I am afraid that even we together are not a match for that demon beast. You should have left 1 or 2 Hell Reaper-S behind. Indeed, deity-level war beasts were incomparably savage. Just this divine-level beast was already something that Long Fei and the rest could not handle. Yan Nantian knew, and so did Nie Lin. Seeing that the 12 Hell Reaper-S had all rushed out, Nie Lin's gaze tensed up as he shouted sinisterly, Long Fei, die! He only had one chance. Even if Nie Lin were to take the risk, she would not give up. When 12 Hell Reapers turned around, she had no chance at all. Not to mention the 90 new King Powerhouses. Even if she had twice as many people, she would still not be a match for 12 Hell Reapers. As long as they could kill Long Fei, everything would come to an end. Nie Lin was very clear of this point. The moment she saw 12 Hell Reapers rush out, a sharp light flashed in her eyes as she charged forward in an instant. A divine, level war beast was unscrupulous. No one could resist it. When Wang Tai's heavy sword fell, the brown-colored bones on his back were rapidly mutated, and the energy throughout his entire body was especially violent. As the heavy sword landed, both of his hands were tightly clenched. Buzz! The heavy sword, which was originally full of rust, emitted a golden glow from the gap in the rust. It roared and stepped forward. I'll go first, Wang Tai roared. He wanted to block everything for Long Fei. However, Long Fei was a step ahead of him and directly pulled Wang Tai back and said slightly, Don't be anxious. It's not your turn to die for me yet. You still have to live well. The divine level beast could crush Wang Tai into powder with one move. Even if he became stronger now, it wouldn't be able to resist. Wang Tai looked at Long Fei. Everyone looked at Long Fei, facing a divine level beast. Even the purple star peak realm was unable to resist, but Long Fei stood unmoving in his original place, his aura the same. He didn't try to defend at all. There were no energy fluctuations either. Is he crazy? What is he doing? What is he thinking? Could it be that he wants to use his own body to resist this divine level war beast? Are you sick? At this time, we should have let a Hell Reaper return. No one understood Long Fei. What was he doing? Died. Seeing Long Fei being so calm, her heart faintly sank, and she became a little worried. But since you are courting death, I shall fulfill your wish. The king's roar. The divine-ranked beast unleashed its strength from its abdomen as it roared at Long Fei, with its bloody mouth wide open. The 9 purple gold holy artifact swords on Nie Lin's back also flew out at the same time. They all rushed towards Long Fei. His life was hanging by a thread. At this moment, however, the corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up slightly and coldly sneered. I've said it before, it seems like you still don't have enough to spare. Nie Lin's gaze turned cold. Could it be that Long Fei still had useless trump cards? What else? Is it that kind of instant fist technique? A chill rose in her heart, and at this time, Long Fei moved. Just as he was about to summon out the giant clan's giant, a miserable scream came out. In the sky, a red-crowned crane descended from the sky. In an instant, the incomparably sharp mouth was like a long sword, fiercely thrusting downwards and piercing through the head of the divine level beast at Nie Lin's feet, staring at the top of the mountain. Dead. Flying crane. Chapter 1856. Giant Clan, Enter the Battle. Chapter 1856. Giant Clan, Enter the Battle. Flying crane. instantly defeated that divine-level war beast. He was going to die. The huge body of Nie Lin fell down, and Nie Lin, who was standing on top of his head, was flung down, rolling on the ground, and staggering. At this moment, the figure on top of the flying crane moved. Wham! The sword hummed. It instantly descended. The distance between them was less than half a centimeter. As long as he used a little more strength, he could use his strength to instantly blow his head off. Wait! Long Fei anxiously shouted, his heart complaining. Just like that, a god-level war beast disappeared. These were all experience points. It's all holy power value. It was even possible for holy artifact to drop. He died, just like that, but the key thing was that Long Fei did not kill him, so he did not obtain anything. Looking at the gigantic divine-level beast, he complained in his heart, If Nie Lin, the variant boss, was killed, he wouldn't be playing the game anymore. Stop immediately. The sword intent on Desperate Man slightly retracted. Seizing this chance, Nie Lin's feet lightly tapped and quickly retreated. Clang! In the eyes of the Desperate Man. Although he could chase after her and easily catch up to her, he did not do so. Long Fei walked over, looked at Desperate Man, and said, I was worried that you would die. Seeing that the Desperate Man was stronger than before and even had obtained such a big crane, Long Fei's worries were unnecessary. Long Fei looked at the great immortal crane and said, This guy is so powerful, killing a divine-level beast in one move. What is this immortal crane called? Desperate Man said, Flying Crane. In that instant, Long Fei's eyes immediately went blank as he stared at the incomparably huge red-crowned crane. He was extremely shocked in his heart as he said in his heart, Is this my mother's mount? Flying Crane. Can he fly me out of the Devil Island? Long Fei's heart became excited. Flying Cranes are flying millions of kilometers in a day. Where can they not fly with this kind of mount? If they could really fly through the Demon Sea, then they wouldn't have to worry about not being able to leave Devil Island. However, Long Fei did not know the size of the Demon Sea. He did not know that there was no war beast in this world that could fly beyond the Fiend Sea, just like a butterfly that could not fly past the Blue Sea. It was impossible for any war beast. Otherwise, his mother wouldn't have been able to fly up to break out of the Forbidden Zone. While Long Fei was looking at the flying crane, the flying crane was also looking at Long Fei. This feeling was hard to describe, just like a family member. Flying crane, it's a flying crane. A flying crane that had disappeared from the God Rare sect for many years. I never thought that it would actually appear in the Devil Hills. Flying Crane is the #1 war beast of Devil Island, an unmatched existence. As long as the Flying Crane stands guard, no matter how much of a trash the God Rare sect is, they will not fall from the position of the 10 sects. But why would he be here? Didn't they say that it has disappeared many years ago? I don't care if the Flying Crane SR or not. Look at Nie Lin's face now. What did you see? Despair. Yes, it's despair. Ha ha ha. This is so fun. Even more fun than a few King Peerless Beauties. Ha. Despair. He was truly in despair. The last shred of hope was shattered. The divine-level war beasts were killed, Flying Crane appeared, Desperate Man appeared, and the surrounding rookie kings were slaughtered by the 12 Hell Reaper. The situation had already turned for the better. Nie Lin's eyes were filled with incomparable despair. At this time, Long Fei walked forward, looked at Nie Lin, and said, Have you given up all hope? Did it collapse? Are you satisfied? Why? Nie Lin stared at Long Fei and said, Long Fei, other than relying on these people, what other uses do you have? You're still a piece of trash. A trash like you is not fit to enter the Devil Temple. Long Fei grinned. That's right. I'm useless, but I can enter the Devil Temple. What's wrong? Are you upset? Do you still have the qualifications to be unhappy? Long Fei acted as if he was as lowly as he could get. Nie Lin held onto his sword tightly and stared at Long Fei. Long Fei, do you dare to fight with me one-on-one? Wow, one-on-one. Long Fei revealed a shocked expression and said, so scared. Nie Lin said, you don't dare? That's right. How dare trash like you fight with me? Intimidation. If they could kill Long Fei, they might be able to reverse the situation. Even now, Nie Lin had not given up. Her heart was still filled with killing intent, wanting to put Long Fei to death. How vicious! A woman's heart, once poisoned, was 10,000 times more vicious than a snake or a scorpion. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, since you have already issued your challenge, then fine, let's duel each other. Ba Wanghua immediately pulled Long Fei back and said, let me go. I want to fight her. Yan Nantian said, Brother Long, she has always been hiding her strength, and she is a member of the spirit communication technique family. There is definitely not only one beast. You do not have an advantage in fighting him. Why not let me do it? Nie Lin was extremely shrewd. This kind of woman would use every move at this point in time. Desperate Man said lightly, the flying crane can help you. He did not say it explicitly, but what Desperate Man saw in the Hall of Immortals made him understand that the owner of this flying crane was Long Fei, not him. Long Fei said indifferently, this is not good. We will be laughed at. After all, he is a weak girl, right, Sister Nie Lin? We're not going to do those useless things. We're just going to rely on our own strength to fight with each other. What do you think? Long Fei revealed a very innocent look. A look of despise flashed across Nie Lin's eyes as he sneered in his heart. Arrogant and proud, if you were to fight with me one-on-one, I'm not trash like that Yan Nantian. I'll let you die an incomparably miserable death. Immediately, Nie Lin moved slightly and landed on the stage that was filled with ruins. Pointing his sword, he pointed at Long Fei and said, come. Long Fei calmly walked forward, his eyes very innocent and his expression very naive. He looked at Nie Lin and asked, you won't summon any more beasts, right? Also, the 9 swords on your back are not bad. I really like them. Nie Lin sneered and said, your head isn't bad, and I like it a lot. Give him to me? Sure. Long Fei smiled and walked to the ruined stage. Nie Lin's gaze darkened. The longsword suddenly moved. His steps were like a phantom as he quickly charged towards Long Fei, the 9 longswords behind him buzzing as they shot into the sky. Buzz. Buzz. Wung. Roars came out. The sky was not a sword, but a sword beast. The 9 swords were not swords, but spirit beasts, sword beast. This was Nie Lin's strongest beast. Long Fei, go and die. Nie Lin shouted excitedly. Long Fei slowly sighed. Sigh. Why didn't you learn your lesson? Giant Clan, come out. Chapter 1857. The bottom line is touched. Chapter 1857. The bottom line is touched 1v1. Nie Lin had never thought of fighting with Long Fei one-on-one. She would find a chance to kill Long Fei. Therefore, when Long Fei stepped into her attack range, she did not have any time to wait and used her entire strength to crush Long Fei. However, she was too clever. She didn't understand Long Fei at all. He simply did not understand what kind of person Long Fei was, who knew how many trump cards he still had that were useless. Of course, Long Fei had never thought of fighting with Nie Lin one-on-one either. Are you insidious? I am more sinister than you are. That is what Long Fei is like. The 9 swords became 9-headed divine level sword beast and descended from the sky with the intent to kill Long Fei. At this moment, Long Fei moved his hands, and the Sumi rings shook violently. A Long roared, "Who dares to touch my lord?" Rumble! 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 The moment he landed, the peak of the mountain violently shook, and even the sky was trembling. Powerful energy ripples spread out one after another, and it was completely unable to withstand the force. A long appeared, shocking everyone. Huge giant, giant is a giant, my God. Why are there giants here? Didn't they say that the giant clan is dead? Isn't this guy too big? What's his name, Long Fei? Master? How can this be? Wow, Big Brother phase explosion. The 12 Hell Reaper S have submitted. Even the giants have submitted. It's too awesome. For a moment, everyone was stupefied. Giant Clan was an ancient clan, and according to the legends, they were the first clan to be abandoned by the gods. They only knew that they were the first group of people from Devil Island. The purpose of the appearance of the Devil Island was to imprison the Giant Clan. Countless years had passed, but the Giant Clan's footprints had never appeared. Many people even thought that the Giant Clan was just a legend. There was no such race. Now that he was right in front of them, the shock he felt was incomparable. When Along appeared, he looked down and scanned the area with his cold eyes. He then opened his giant palm and swept outwards, immediately turning the 9-sword beast back into their original 9 swords. He fiercely stabbed it into the ground. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. The 9 swords were like 9 iron pillars surrounding Nielin and trapping him inside. It was also at this time Along glared and roared fiercely, "Are you the one who repeatedly wants to kill my master?" His voice was like thunder, and it was unbearable. Nielin's heart was about to burst. Without waiting for her to react, Along's fists exploded, smashing straight towards Nielin's head. Rumble! Space itself was pulverized by his fist wind. Strong wind raged above Nielin's head. His hair was in disarray, and his face was covered in streaks of blood as though a knife was cutting through it. It was extremely painful. Long Fei's eyes moved. Along did not continue his attack. Instead, he smashed onto Nielin's body, and with a loud noise, a huge crater appeared on the ground. Along disdainfully said, "You think you can deal with my master just by yourself? I can't kill you, and me." Humph. It was extremely disdainful. Nielin's face was extremely pale. His eyes were filled with despair. Long Fei looked at her and asked, "Is the duel fun?" Nielin stared at Long Fei and said, "Long Fei, I won't let you go, and my Nie family won't let you go either. You think you can win?" "Ha ha ha. Stop dreaming. This is only the beginning. Just wait and see. Your god Rare Sect is probably dead by now. Ha ha." Nielin suddenly laughed out wildly. "Do you think you have won? Do you think you can win? You are indeed very strong, but can you fight against a god? Can you fight against fate?" Ha ha ha. Laughter without restraint. It was as if he had gone insane. Long Fei looked at the space between her eyebrows and asked, "Are you from the Destiny God?" Nielin revealed a sinister cold smile and said, "How is it? Are you afraid? Didn't think of it. No matter how powerful you are, can you fight against a god?" After she left the underground palace and returned to the Xianyang sect, she was suddenly selected by the Destiny God. She had obtained limitless power, and in just a short span of half a month, she had continuously broken through. Her power had risen, and this was only the first step. The power bestowed to her by the Destiny God was too strong, and she longed for it greatly. So she had to leave the Devil Island and enter the ancient holy battlefield even more. She wanted more of this power. As soon as Nielin finished his sentence, the entire audience was shocked. Destiny God, the supreme god of the main temple. Why would he appear in Devil Island? This is not the forbidden land of gods. How is that possible? It sounded impossible, but To Long Fei, he was extremely clear that he almost killed Zhan Wushuang in the underground palace. Zhan Wushuang must have told Destiny God this after he returned to the ancient, holy battlefield. Destiny God. Long Fei gritted his teeth as he grit his teeth and stared at Nye Lin like a demon. He said sinisterly, I have never wanted to kill you, even when you have mutated into a boss. I have always been convincing myself not to kill you because I like killing women, and even more, so I do not like killing a woman that I once had a good impression of. But his voice was extremely cold. He really did not think of killing Nye Lin. If it was any other boss, she would have died long ago. Long Fei did not kill her, but he did. However, since Nye Lin was from the Destiny God, then he had to touch the strings that he shouldn't touch the deepest part of his heart. No matter who she was, she had to die now. Looking at Long Fei's cold and sinister eyes, it was the first time in Nye Lin's life that he felt that kind of fear. His body trembled a little. Long Fei, I am from the Destiny God. You dare to kill me? Destiny God will not let you go. Long Fei grinned. You're from the Destiny God? Did the Destiny God tell you what kind of person I am? Surely not. Ha ha. Let me tell you something. Before he could finish, Long Fei took a step forward, with the devil sword in one hand and fire dragon knife in the other. There were no moves. Even if he had to release all of his power, he could still vent it out. At the same time, Long Fei roared out, I am a person who and Destiny God will never let go. Do you understand? Boom, boom, boom. Nye Lin was simply unable to resist them. The amount of blood on top of her head also decreased, as she said with difficulty, Long Fei, Destiny God will not let you go. The entire Devil Island will not let you go. This is the Forsaken Godland, the chief sovereign of all things. If you dare to go against the gods, you will be surrounded by the forces of the entire Devil Island. Long Fei, you will die 10,000 times worse than me. Ha ha ha. Nye Lin laughed loudly. Long Fei would not give her another chance. Explode for me. Chapter 1858. Enmity. Chapter 1858. Enmity, the ancient holy battlefield, is good too. The divinity is good too. Even the 100,000 planes were controlled by the main temple. The small Devil Island was even more so, a place abandoned by the gods, but a place that revered the gods more than any other place. No one dared to offend God. This was because if they were to abandon this place again, the entire Devil Island would be engulfed by the Demon Sea, and they wouldn't even have a life. Even if they were to be abandoned by a god, they wouldn't dare to have the slightest bit of resentment, and they would even become more respectful, as if they were worshipping a powerhouse. What Nye Lin said left everyone in shock. Destiny God's appearance caused their hearts to feel fear, as if the reverence in their hearts made them feel fear. Their hearts couldn't help but tremble. Long Fei, you can't kill him. We can't kill him. Long Fei, you can't kill him. Destiny God cannot be provoked. Suddenly, many of the sect elders began to shout out loud. He was even more afraid than the Hell Reaper. Nye Lin laughed complacently. She knew that it would happen, so she stared at Long Fei and said, Come, kill me. Long Fei, you dare? Ha ha ha. If I die, you will become the enemy of the entire Devil Island. Do you dare? Nye Lin laughed. He smiled savagely. Long Fei raised her fire dragon knife high up in the air and said, There is nothing in this world that I, Long Fei, do not dare to do. This daddy not only wants to kill you, but also wants to kill Destiny God. As soon as he finished, the flames on the fire dragon knife exploded. The fire dragon blade chi-raged as it slashed down. Boom. Everyone looked at Long Fei with their mouths agape. their hearts sinking as though they had fallen into a bottomless abyss. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Nie Lin's eyes were opened wide in anger. His eyes revealed unwillingness, and also a type of fear in the face of death. Rumble! A loud explosion resounded. The fire dragon blade, Chi swallowed Nie Lin, and his body turned into smithereens. The system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 100,000 experience, 100,000 holy power value, and 1 energy values. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the 9 sword beast. The system beep finished. Then, he floated the sword beast in Long Fei's mind. With a slight movement, Long Fei released the 9 sword beast S. Without any hesitation, Long smashed all 9 sword beasts to pieces with a single punch. Although they had exposed Nie Lin's 9 sword beast, these things were definitely dangerous. If it was something the destiny god had given to Nie Lin, being around was a disaster. Thus, Long Fei did not hesitate. Nie Lin did not drop anything, nor did she have any hopes that she would drop anything, but she did not. To Long Fei, she had already dropped enough things. Destiny God. Your father's been taken to the Devil Island by you, yet you still won't let your father go, right? Wait, if I don't kill you in this life, I'll *** king change my surname to yours. Long Fei said those words word by word while grinding his teeth. He did not expect the power of the destiny god to appear once again. Zhan Wushuang became stronger. The infiltration of the destiny god. All of these, the destiny god simply did not plan to let Long Fei go. Long Fei being alive for the entire day was a form of humiliation to him. He would definitely not allow this kind of thing to happen a second time. Now that he knew Long Fei had become stronger, he would definitely not let Long Fei have a good life. With Nie Lin's death, the new royal battle team members quickly retreated, and in the end, only a dozen of the more than 90 disciples managed to escape. However, they ran away. All the elders of the 9 major sects stood up in unison. The spectators all stood up as well. Just a second ago, they were all excited that Long Fei could crush this crazy woman, but in that second, they all stared at him as if he was their mortal enemy. Intense hostility. Bawang Hua walked to Long Fei's side and asked in a low voice, "Why are they looking at you like that? They should be thanking you." Long Fei's gaze turned cold, and he said, "They are afraid." Fear. The Bawang Hua did not understand. "What are you afraid of?" Long Fei looked into the sky and said, "They are afraid of gods." Boom, boom, boom. Explosions rang out from the surroundings one after another. This was the eruption of one's battle prowess. Long Fei, if you kill Nie Lin, that would mean you are at war with Destiny God, and Devil Island cannot tolerate you. That's right. Long Fei, you have offended Destiny God, so Devil Island does not wish to suffer along with you. This is already the forbidden land of gods. If the main temple descends any more punishments, this tiny Devil Island will be engulfed by the demon sea. We don't want to die with you. Fear. He was extremely afraid. God, in their hearts, was always the person they feared the most. Let alone the destiny god who had control over their fate, they were even more afraid. Long Fei swept his gaze across them, looked at the hostile gazes around him, and laughed coldly. Without further ado, he said, "All of you look down on this daddy, right? Sure. Who's not happy? Get the hell down here. I'll make him feel good." He didn't want to be long-winded. Are you in a bad mood? If you're not satisfied, come down and do it. While they were talking, boom, boom, boom. The 12 Hell Reaper S descended and stood beside Long Fei. The half-moon sickle in their hands was still dripping with blood, and their eyes were cold as they looked around. If anyone dared to come down, they would immediately take their lives. Savage to such an extent, Along's powerful body was crushing everything. If anyone dared to touch Long Fei, he would definitely make that person regret being born into this world. Come on, it's not unhappiness. Didn't you want to kill me? Everyone, come at me. Long Fei roared and said coldly, "What's the use of a group of cowards? To be exiled to this sort of place and still accept it. Is there any difference between the two of you and a salted fish?" They were unhappy. Long Fei felt even more unhappy, just a mere destiny god. Yet he was able to make 10 sects, who stood at the peak of the Devil Island, tremble in fear before his appearance. Long Fei was unhappy. Long Fei, there is no one in this world who can fight against gods. Even if it was in the ancient holy battlefield as for the past 10,000 years, who could change that? No one. The destiny god controls the fate of 100,000 planes, and there is an even stronger god than that who is the king of 100,000 planes. He is an existence that no one can shake. You have offended the destiny god and dragged us down with you. We will not take action today, but from now on, no one in the Devil Island will be able to tolerate you. Finished. The elder waved his sleeve and said, "Return to the sect." The head of the 10 sects, the Heaven Origins sect, left. Many sects slowly withdrew from the Devil Hills. Long Fei did not stop them. However, he knew that after today, all the powers would be irreconcilable with him. Chapter 1859. The Devil Temple's Trial. Chapter 1859. The Devil Temple's Trial. He came and left as quickly as he came. In less than half an hour, Long Fei and a few others were the only ones left in the Devil Hills. Empty. A cold wind blew, and the surroundings were in a mess, appearing somewhat desolate. No one had expected that this year's exchange would end in such a way. Long Fei looked at Bawanghua and the others and said, "My path is very difficult. My path is to step over Main Temple and kill him. I want to change the laws of this world. We'll encounter many, many dangers. I don't want to—" Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, the Bawanghua said, "I don't care. Anyway, I'm your man. Marrying a chicken and dogs will always follow a dog. Wherever you go, I'll go. Whoever is your enemy will also be my enemy." Simple and crude. After saying that, the Bawanghua grabbed onto Long Fei's arm firmly, as if Long Fei could fly away at any time. Wang Tai said, "I have been exiled here by my clan, I have been despised by my clan, and I want to leave this place. I know that it is impossible for me to rely on my own strength for my entire lifetime. But you can. No matter who you want to deal with, before I die, I will follow behind you. If I don't die, you won't die." It was the first time she had said so much. When others saw him, they would treat him like a monster, especially when he activated the heavy sword. But Long Fei did not change at all. LV Shuangchuan scratched his head and laughed. "This is the road to becoming a deity. How can you let me get away with this kind of thing? If I were to record all of this down and become a deity successfully, I would be a witness." Ha ha! He did not understand so much, but he understood one thing. If he followed Long Fei, he would have meat to eat, and he would have wine to drink. There was not a single ripple in Yan Nanshan's eyes. He looked at Long Fei and asked, "Can you really break the Devil Island's taboo?" Long Fei replied, "I don't know, but I will do my best. I won't let a small Devil Island bind my flying wings." "All right, I'll bet with you," Yan Nantian said calmly. "Before I die, I will repay you with my life. This is what I owe you." Then he fell silent. Along scratched his head and said, "Master is the god of our giant clan." Desperate Man had already disappeared into thin air. He was the shadow of Long Fei. He would be wherever Long Fei was. Looking at these people, Long Fei was moved beyond words. As long as he had his brother with him, how could the entire world be his enemy? He just wasn't afraid. Humph! Long Fei did not argue, and said, "All right, since you all have made the choice to follow me, then I will not beat around the bush. I walk the path of death from today onwards. Whoever blocks us will be God. Evil will be evil. I will let them all die at my feet. No one can stop my Long Fei's footsteps. No one." And then Long Fei moved. Wang. Devil Temple was released from the Sumi rings and returned to his original position. The two old monks, who were as thin as firewood and whose eyes did not have the slightest ripple, were still the same as before, guarding the main gate of Devil Temple. Their eyes were empty and cold, the appearance of eternal immortality. Long Fei walked forward and said, "Senior, I need to enter the Devil Temple." An old monk looked at Long Fei and said, "You can go in. They won't be able to." Long Fei trembled slightly and said, "I want to bring them along to Devil Temple." "No way," the two old monks said at the same time. Long Fei secretly furrowed his brows, looked at the two old monks, and asked, "You two are also afraid of the Destiny God?" The old monk's empty eyes rippled. It seemed as if he was angry, but also seemed to be looking down on them. He said, "There is no one in this world that is worthy of us being afraid of. Because we are already dead, what is there to be afraid of?" The words were a little profound. Long Fei did not understand. Long Fei said, "Since they're not afraid, why not let us bring them in?" Long Fei promised them. He would do his best to do what he had promised. Yen Nantian said, "Long Fei, your talent is better than any of us. You will be more useful when you enter than any of us." "Yes, Brother Fei, you can go in by yourself." LV Shuangchuan said. Bawanghua said, "We went in last night, so we won't go in." They didn't want to disturb Long Fei, and even more so, did not want to make things difficult for Long Fei. The two old monks did not look like much, just like an old man who had run out of oil. However, their cultivation was unfathomably high, and it was unknown how strong he was. Once they made a move, they would be able to kill Long Fei in an instant. Long Fei said, "What if I must bring them in?" Devil Temple, an unparalleled inheritance. This was probably the only place that had changed his fate. Any warriors would like to go in the place. Bawanghua. And the other two did go in last night, but the place they went in was not Devil Temple. Although they said they didn't want to go in, Long Fei knew clearly in his heart that everyone wanted to go in. Moreover, this was something that Long Fei had personally promised them. The old monk looked at Long Fei coldly. Long Fei's eyes moved slightly. The 12 Hell Reaper-S stepped forward, and Giant Along also walked forward. Long Fei once again said, "What if I must bring them in?" This was not a discussion. This was an undisguised threat. He wanted to go in. The two old monks looked at each other. A ripple once again appeared in their eyes, as if Long Fei had passed some sort of test. Then an old monk looked at Long Fei and said, "You go in as long as you can pass through the first hurdle. The entire Devil Temple will listen to your orders." "Huh. Inside." Long Fei frowned. "What stage?" The old monk said slightly, "You will know once you enter." Long Fei said, "What if I don't go in?" The old monk lifted his eyes and swept his gaze across them. A drop of water appeared on his fingertip as he said, "Do you think that you and the others alone will be a match for the two of us?" As soon as he finished, the old monk's shadow suddenly shook. It was 100 times faster than lightning, so he couldn't even see clearly. A light point appeared between Long Fei's eyebrows, and it felt slightly cold. Wang Tai looked at the space between Long Fei's brows and said, "Brother Fei, your forehead." Long Fei looked at the space between Wang Tai's brows at the same time. His face was filled with shock. Not just Wang Tai, Yan, Nantian, Bawang Hua, LV Shuangchuan, 12 Hell Reapers, even Giant Along, who was high above him, had a little watermark on his forehead. If the watermark was replaced with a sword, then Long Fei and the others would suddenly, they were completely annihilated. Sweeping Monk. Powerful to the point of being a complete mess, Long Fei was stunned. Huff! Long Fei let out a light breath, walked forward, and said, "All right, I'll go in to challenge the trial. You guys wait for me outside. If I don't come out within 3 days, that means I'm dead inside. You don't have to do anything, just leave." Finished. Long Fei walked into the Devil Temple alone. Chapter 1860, For Bodhisattvas. Chapter 1860. For Bodhisattvas, the sweeping monk was too strong. Long Fei thought that no matter how strong they would still not be a match for the Hell Reaper. But he was wrong. Sweeping monk was enough to sweep across 18 streets of Hell Reaper. Even if the Hell Reaper fused with the power of Giant now, it would still be the same. This also showed how powerful the things in the Devil Temple were. As a mortal, he wouldn't die even after 1,000 years. In one night's time, the cultivation of the 3 people of Bawang Hua sword, the opportunity was like a metamorphosis. Long Fei had never seen this kind of strength before. Creak. The crisp sound of a door opening could be heard. Everything inside was pitch black, and not a single thing could be seen clearly. It was as if an abyss or a demon beast's open mouth waiting for Long Fei to drill his way in. Brother Fei, Long Fei, Bawang Hua, and the others were very worried. Yesterday, when they entered, they only opened half the door. Now, they opened the door together. It was completely different from what they had seen yesterday. Long Fei did not turn back as he walked into the darkness with large strides. If they wanted to kill him, he would have died 100,000 times over. Right at the moment when Long Fei stepped into the door buzzed. Boom! A figure was sent flying. Desperate Man was pushed back dozens of steps consecutively before stopping, his face pale and blood rolling below his chest. A mouthful of blood flowed out. Just the power of a door could turn Desperate Man into an internal injury. How strong was that? The old monk slightly glanced at the Desperate Man and calmly said, "You are also someone who has entered the Devil Temple before. You should understand that other than the people you choose, no one else can enter." Desperate Man's gaze darkened slightly. The Bawang Hua and the others were stunned. They all looked at Desperate Man. "You've been in there before? You were also a new king? Which sect are you from? How could the flying crane be with you?" It was obviously the god Rare Sect's guardian crane. Where did you find it? There were too many questions that needed to be answered. However, Desperate Man did not reply. His body slightly moved and once again disappeared into the air, completely invisible from view. Indeed, he had been in there before. Not only had he been inside, he had also been inside for half a year. However, this was just a small part of his past. His past life was much better than this. And then there was Long Fei. Long Fei walked into the Devil Temple, and the door closed, standing in the darkness. Long Fei could not feel the existence of any aura, and he had to stop for a full 10 minutes. There still wasn't any change in the surroundings. Long Fei said lightly, "Since you called me in to challenge the trial, someone has to come out, right? At the very least, shouldn't you explain to me what it means to pass this challenge?" As soon as he finished, boom, it was as if a searchlight was shining down from a searchlight. Not far in front of Long Fei, there was an old monk that looked like a statue of the Vajra Bodhisattva. His face was somewhat sinister, and his movements were strange. Vajra glared at Long Fei. Boom. Behind him, another Vajra bodhisattva appeared. Its movements were different, and its appearance was different, but at the same time, it was glaring at Long Fei. Boom. Boom. It also appeared on the left and right sides. For Vajra bodhisattva, without any aura, he couldn't feel the fluctuations of power from their bodies. Devil Temple, is this really a huge temple? Long Fei mumbled. The four Vajra bodhisattva were all different. It looked like it would definitely frighten a crying child. At this moment, a voice resounded in the air and said, Long Fei, as long as you can win against four bodhisattvas, you will pass. Remember, you can't use your blasting fist. If you cannot win, you will lose the qualification to enter the Devil Temple, and your friends will also lose the qualification to enter the Devil Temple. The sound was so hollow that no one could tell where it came from. At the same time, Long Fei felt that this place was like an incomparably large space. You know that I have blasting fist. Long Fei's heart trembled. No one other than himself could correctly say the name of the blasting fist. Who was this person? A voice came from the darkness. You don't need to know who I am. You only need to pass this test. Your mother passed it that year. 1,000 years from now, it will depend on whether you can pass or not. Will that disappoint your mother? Long Fei's heart trembled even more. Not only did he know that he had the blasting fist, even his mother knew about it. A wave of killing intent arose in his heart, and he said coldly, I don't care who you are, you know too much. Ha ha ha. Hey, what an arrogant tone. Bring it on. Let's see if you have the strength to pass the examination. A voice rang out. Long Fei said, Wait first, do you have any rewards for winning? A voice from the darkness asked, What do you want? Long Fei glanced at four bodhisattvas and asked, What are the names of these four bodhisattvas? They should look pretty good. The voice in the darkness said, You want them? Long Fei said, Is that possible? The voice from the darkness said, Yes, as long as you can defeat them, you will become the master of the Devil Temple. You will take over everything here, including the four of them. Become the master of this place. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, Seems like my mother has given this place to me as well. The voice in the darkness disappeared. He was slightly taken aback because Long Fei was much smarter than he had imagined. And then a surge of energy surged through the darkness. Begin. As soon as he finished, for Bodhisattva's body slightly moved. The two lines crossed, and the intersection point was Long Fei's body. It was like a four symbols formation. Long Fei's hand sank as the devil's sword and fire dragon knife landed in his hands and directly clashed against them. Boom, boom. With two explosive sounds, the demon's sword fell. The fire dragon blade fell. Long Fei's body exploded as he retreated, a mouthful of blood spraying out, his expression extremely ugly, and in an instant he was sent flying. He was just too powerful. He was defeated in one move. You can continue to challenge him. His voice rang out. It seems that your strength is not as strong as your mouth. Again, Long Fei slammed the ground heavily and rushed forward with a single step. Boom. He was once again sent flying. You've lost again. Again. Long Fei bellowed and rushed forward again without caring about his life. Boom. He was sent flying once again. Seems like you are unable to pass the exam. You are also unable to inherit your mother's will. And you are also unable to inherit the things she left for you. Long Fei stood up from the ground, wiping away the blood from his mouth, and said, What are you so anxious for? I'm not dead yet. Isn't it a never-ending challenge? I didn't lose before killing me. Again, I don't believe this. Long Fei just did not submit. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.